All set up. We are ready to get underway. Umpire throws the ball in the air, and here's Luke Darcy.
Big boy McAvoy got his first hand on it. Mitchell went the soccer option. Got it to half forward. Corey Enright, the champ, 6-time All-Australian in the way. Got tackled immediately. Bruce came through the footy. Good tackle laid on him. And no prior opportunity. So it will be a ball up. Just the attacking half of the centre square for the Hawks. A lot of numbers around this one.
Scott Selwood straight to Mitchell, working him physically.
Here's his brother Joel, the All-Australian captain. He tumbles one forward off the shins of Stratton. Might be a bit greasy out there with the rain in the afternoon. Perfect conditions now, though. And now at half-back, this is Sean Burgoyne. Another really ordinary kick, and it skids across the ground. Shields picked it up. Enright got a piece of him. Back to Gunston. Has to go with the non-preferred. Hodge copped a massive smack in the mouth. It was Mackie who got him. In the act of spoiling, big Fitzpatrick for Hawthorn sliding through. Mackie got back after it. Hard footy to be won, as you would expect, and we'll have a boundary throw-in at half-forward. Punt road end, that's where the Hawks are attacking.
Early stages. 55 out from the Hawks. Punt road end goal. And the footy's thrown in. McAvoy just got a hand to it. Mitchell ran under it. Stanley then went and got it. He was claimed. Blitzarves a nice pick up, and he was claimed. Lewis went and won a hard ball. Guthrie then picked it up, and he was smashed into the ground. McAvoy again a little kick forward, only as far as Enright, who had a fumble. Very slippery pill. The danger for the first time, and he's belted in a McAvoy tackle. So some big early physical statements being made by both clubs. Umpire wants it.
Probably what we expected early, isn't it? Hard to get a kick, pressure on. If you fumble, you get smashed in a tackle.
So the ball up just on the edge of 50. Punt road end, Hawks in attack. Blitzarves try to come through. Hodge the other way. A lot of kicks off the ground early. Sliding in is Hodge again. It ends up in the arms of Blitzarves. High ball to centre wing. Back with a flight. That is the young man, Ryan Burton. And he got it through the interchange on centre wing. This is the members' side of the MCG. And that's where we'll have a boundary throw-in.
Yep, right in front of the dock, and Howie.
Hodge and Selwood going head-to-head early as well.
A lot of space for Dangerfield stoppages too.
No score as yet for either team. The ruckman missed the footy, just hits the ground now. Stanley inches a kick forward, it bounces to half forward. Hawthorn with numbers, but the Cats able to get it going their way. Jordan Lewis now picks it up, walks back into traffic, created problems. Stratton ducked his head into the contest. No free for him. Hodge went and found it. Still no clear ball. Hawkins, a handball to Bartel outside 50. Bartel, a banana ball. Motlop in the square, has taken it about 4 metres out.
He's paid it in the square, so it'll go straight around in front.
Certain goal now for the Cats, courtesy of Stevie Motlop. And a long ball in from Jimmy Bartel. So the first score to the city end will be a goal for Geelong. Motlop, bang. One straight. Hawks haven't scored. Triple M National Crime Check scoreboard.
It was just about the first clear kick we've seen. The one from Bartel, he found a little bit of space. The ball came out to him, and he had the chance to drive it long.
Yeah, I mean, conditions from here actually look really good, but so far the evidence of the game, it appears to be quite slippery. But Jimmy Bartel, then, he just didn't get sucked into the contest. There was quite a lot of numbers around the ball. He just kept his width. The ball found his way into his arms, and as you said, probably the first clear possession really for the game.
Chris Jard, the Chief, Jason Dunstall, Shell V-Power special comments in this big final. Cats strike first, 1 straight 6. And Stevie Motlop, the man to kick the first goal. So we're back in the centre now. Stanley and the big boy McAvoy. Dangerfield, his first real clean possession. Oh, Gunston off the line. Got hold of Selwood. Selwood bounced straight back up. Bruce with a little don't argue. Hurry to kick the centre forward. Mackie's got this one covered. Squeezes the handball back to Harry Taylor. Looks up. Ill-directed kick's been marked out on the wing by Birchall.
Grant Birchall, 4-time premiership star of the Hawks. Not got a lot to go to. Just got to pump it long inside 50. Puopolo at the back. Fitzpatrick at the front. Defensive fist for the Cats. Here comes danger. Just explodes through and then pounds it to half forward. Work to do here for Frawley. Got to get around. Bartel did pretty well. Gave it to Gibson. At half back, nothing for him to go to by foot. So just got to dump it high and long down the line straight to Selwood.
Stood under the footy, Joel Selwood, no issues, released his mate Dangerfield. Look at that combination this year. Stratton, the Hawks welcome him back into the side. Mitchell's hands to Rioli. First time we've called his name. Inside 50, now a bit of a foot race. Bruce Mackey. Mackey got back, picked it up cleanly.
Oh, yeah.
Now under some pressure. Harry Taylor's got to pick an awkward one from his toes. Professionally took it to the boundary line without being deliberate and got the result he was after in the end, and that is a boundary throw-in on the Great Southern Stand wing side, right on 50, punt road end for the Hawks.
Good contested possession numbers early from the Cats, 12-5.
Thrown in ball, 48 from home. Hawks haven't scored, Cats have one straight. Free kick, Hawthorn. And it's going to go to Shields, just outside 50. Held when he didn't have it, short to Smith. Only just had the trip.
Probably in range if he wants to, Isaac Smith, and he'll take his time, go back, have the shot.
So his man on the mark is Joel Selwood, and he's standing just inside 50. So for Isaac Smith, the kick's going to have to travel 55 to the punt road end. The drop punt's on its way, and searching for distance, he pulled it badly. Hit the behind post out in the full.
Seen him kick long goals before from at least 55 out, but that was just poor contact off the boot. Very toey.
Let's get down to Howie quickly for Bob Jane T-Marts.
Cat's really physical on Sam Mitchell when he's just disposed of the footy a couple of times.
So Dangerfield, this is the fullback kick, and they've got it all the way to centre wing very quickly. Blitzarves athletically went back with a flight. Couldn't quite complete the mark. Now coming through was Isaac Smith. As Howie just pointed out, Mitchell's under all sorts of attention from Scotty Selwood. Cats go forward, one-on-one, and it was Menzel, the fourth gamer, in Burton involved as well. Cats free kick though, and it might be Lincoln McCarthy. It is 55 metres out. Quickly decides to get it moving towards the goal square, and out the back Stanley had his name written all over it. Probably should have marked it. Fitzpatrick for Hawthorn. Awkward gather, mightn't have disposed of it correctly. Play on's the call when Isaac Smith clears the defensive end.
Bruce and Mackey, one-on-one. Bruce just slaps it forward. The bounce is going to have to work for him. Mackey stays with him, the old-timer. Well done, actually, Luke Bruce. He got a socker to it, and it goes out of play about 25 around from the behind post punt road end.
It's an interesting one, because if that was down the other end of the ground, they would have paid it deliberate. But when it's in your forward half, you probably get a little bit more lenience with the out-of-bounds rule.
So the ball will be thrown in about 25 around from the punt road end. Hawks heading in that direction. They haven't scored. Geelong have got one goal through Motlop. There is Bruce. Busted through and then went without it. Dangerfield a handball. Might get a free here for high contact. He does. And Duncan's able to bring it away. Goes over the top to McCarthy, who had a little nervous moment under the pill. Joel Selwood went and picked it up. Handball to Blitzarves.
It's going to burst through half back. Blitzarves on the non-preferred.
Great
And the
kick.
kick was unbelievable, Chief. Hit Tom Hawkins perfectly. Stratton wasn't. No, it was Burton who went the fist. He should have marked it. They're going to be okay here, Hawthorn. But the inexperience as Burton sockers it through for a rush behind. The crowd behind there, the Cats wanted deliberate. So a real nervous moment for young Ryan Burton there, Juddy.
It was, and not paid deliberate, but would have been an interesting call.
Pressure of the situation, isn't it? A young player wanting to play safe, not realising he could have marked the ball.
Duray got it from Lewis to Stratton further afield. And then Burgoyne, almost on the wing out of side. Got it to Schoenmakers, just forward of the wing. He wheels and goes, long ball, straight to Enright. How many times has this superstar taken an intercept mark across half-back to Harry Taylor? And Taylor can go to Selwood. Ash, how much has he had, Joel Selwood?
6 touches for Hard Yakka.
Well, he played 8 minutes. So already productive, speaking of star players. Short, Kolajasny, and he'll get a hands in the back free.
The umpire in the marking contest. Pretty clear free kick, that one on the Chemist Warehouse replay screen. So the Cats have it with Kolajasny here at halfback, attacking to the city end, and they go out southern stand wing side in front. Frawley. Hawkins from behind, picked up by Hill. A leg speed. He'll take Hawkins on with a bounce. Hawkins did well to corral him. Now Piopolo, 65 metres out. Wanted to give the handball back to Bradley Hill, which he duly does. Now the centering kick. Big boy McAvoy brought it to ground. Cam Guthrie back there, picked it up really nicely and got it to Enright.
Nicely organised in the back half, Juddy, the Cats at the minute.
They do, yep, absolutely.
Cowan can deliver looking for Reece Stanley, who got rid of his direct opponent and then just pounded it down the line, but it's out in the full. So the Hawks will end up with the footy.
Both teams have often had a spare player in front of the ball, which is really rare to find. We've seen Jimmy Bartel at the front door a couple of times and Paul Puopolo before. It'll be interesting to see if that keeps happening.
Gibson releases back to Duray, and he'll go all the way back inside defensive 50 and find Frawley, who can go to the outer side where Burgoyne's got some space.
Now to move this one to the other side of the ground pretty effectively. Now Burgoyne looks up. It's not a lot that he likes, but man, they call Silk. Always finds a target to Howe, to Bradley Hill. This kick inside 50 has been the troubling one. Bruce sits underneath it. Cats defence, as Jim pointed out, really well organised. Now Puopolo tries to get involved. Mitchell's pushed forward. Hasn't kicked a goal this year, Sam Mitchell. And around the body snap misses. So the Hawks' first score is a minor one. 1-1-7. That's Geelong. The Hawks one behind Triple M National Crime Check scoreboard.
Interesting thing about that, they've had the ball in their forward half, the Hawks, for 72% of the first quarter thus far for just the 1 point. The Cats are so good at soaking up pressure in their defensive half.
Staggering stat that, Duke, for a bloke who has as much of the footy as Sam Mitchell does. To not have kicked a goal for a whole year is amazing. Lonergan on the up to Enright. Long and wide, one out is Hawkins, got hands to it. The big frame. Well done, Frawley. Won a really good one-on-one ball. Got it back to Fitzpatrick. Got it back by hand to Frawley. Now Duray. Duray gets unloaded, but his kick's okay. And Birchall has it across half-back. Sideways to Gibson. Called by Isaac Smith to run. Has a couple of bounces, does the give, and then gives it to Isaac Smith. The left foot will work. He's got Gunston out. Good ball. Gunston at half-forward. Got a couple of players streaming at him, didn't want to use him.
Had a good lead from Whitecross, just wasn't in position to deliver it to him.
So Jack Gunston, outside 50, just sits it up. Whitecross, Schoenmakers was wrestled with, and the Cats' defence thump it out of play.
And for me, that's the kick they don't want to get forced to do too often, Hawthorn, that long bomb forward. The Cats just eat that up.
So about to throw him deep in attack. Hawks still searching for their first goal. They trail by 6 points. Zach Smith, the big ruckman, sat on top of it. About 30 metres out, holding the footy.
So he's called that taking possession out of the ruck, which is interesting because they both tried to tap the ball and he got it at the second attempt.
So against Fitzpatrick to Blitzarves. You should have a second look at that one, Chief. Now Blitzarves kick out the Hawkins direction. Well done, Frawley. Saw Ruggles got upended by Howe. Hodge got the hands through Menegola. Now Frawley couldn't quite get boot to ball. Picked up by Menegola. To McCarthy. Sliding through Stratton.
Good courage.
Big effort that. The other way was Reece Stanley. Stratton gets up and he's okay. This is Burton in his fourth game. Gunston surrounded by 3 Cats defenders at half forward. Again, a boundary throw in. It was a call for out of bounds on the full from Caddy, but he won't get it. It'll be a boundary throw.
Just got a classic example there of if you fumble, as James Frawley did, you lose the opportunity to dispose of the ball. Pressure's on. You've got to handle it cleanly.
Cats by 6 points, 1-1 to 1 behind. Throw in on the members' wing, edging towards half forward for the Hawks. Lewis wants a holding the ball decision. Well, it didn't come against Menegola. Fitzpatrick now, Blitzarves. Here's Rioli. Handball back to Lewis. Lewis just instant forward. Puopolo has it bashed out of his hands. Ruggles, Lonergan, Kolajasny. They did it pretty well. Blitzarves, handball. Menegola. His was too fierce for Cowan. And that's high contact, surely. On the wing, Geordie Lewis.
Let him up, do not give it away.
Was taken high.
They've stood up well so far, the Cats' defence, but you'd be a bit nervous how often it's getting pumped inside their forward 50.
Quick play on from Lewis. Chris Judd with us. Triple M footy tonight. Special comments with the Chief. Puopolo spun out of a tackle. Forward pocket to Bradley Hill. Look at the leg speed. Takes on Zach Smith and Bradley Hill kicks the Hawks' first goal. And the scores are locked away. 1-1-7 apiece. 14 gone first term. Triple M National Crime Check scoreboard.
And the inside 50 so far, the Hawks 11 and the Cats 3. And as has been mentioned a couple of times, the Cats defenders have stood up pretty well, but sooner or later the weight of numbers just had to get them. And Hawks with their first goal on the board.
The big difference for me, Juddy, That's a forward 50 where the ball's on the ground. It's not one that's bombed where the Cats get plenty of tools and numbers back, and all of a sudden you allow the Piopolos and those types to create at ground level. That, to me, is the advantage that the Hawks have got to use more of.
Absolutely.
Brad Hill, number one ranked player on the ground at the moment. 5 disposals, 1 major. He's only been averaging 18 touches this year.
Shell V-Power special comments designed to improve performance. Chris Judd. Jason Dunstall out of the middle. Handball on the up. Selwood just racking up possession. Got it going forward. And Menzel, a nice touch. A double grabber. Outside 50. Daniel Menzel. Low and hard. Reece Stanley out the back. Got a push in on Frawley.
Holding to
Taylor
Giray.
Giray
Yeah,
was,
probably a couple of free kicks in there, Jim.
So Giray able to go with an ordinary ball to Duncan. Duncan sideways. Bartel had to get around a couple. Little left foot one. All Hawthorn back here. Burton's pick up really good. Handball to Gibson. Now Giray. And his handball to Mitchell. Chain of handballs, in fact, in the end. It was Geordie Lewis who just pumped it long down the line.
McAvoy in front. The numbers with the Cats. Selwood has had an enormous amount of the footy, 2-man.
Yeah, 6 touches, hard yakka.
To Dangerfield, long one to the goal square. Stanley, Gibson out the back. Chance here for Bartel to get boots the ball. And in the end, it was Howe who was able to rush it through for a minor score. 128 Geelong, 117 Hawthorn on the Triple M National Crime Check scoreboard.
Ryan Burton deep in his defensive area. Nice kick to Jordan Lewis, who's had a fair bit of prune.
Yep, 8 disposals for Lewis.
And he's at half back in front of the darker green members' seats. The ground's starting to fill up too. Sideways one to Burton. And Burton across the face to Birchall, giving him lots of room. Birchall wide to Whitecross. Great Southern Stand wing.
Shifted their zone well, the Cats. He had to hold it up. There was nothing further up the line.
Whitecross bites off a 45-degreer. It's good too to get a Gibb. And then Birchall, lots of room for the Birch, but his kick's boxy. Cut out by Duncan. Duncan to McCarthy. McCarthy goes sideways. Menegola, he's got to hold up. Great Southern Stand wing. 45-degree. Scott Selwood. Sees something he likes, and it's Motlop coming at him. The kick was a little strong. Gunston gets back into defence. Whitecross ducks out of a tackle. Birchall's numbers, please, Ash, when you're ready.
Yeah, 7 touches.
That's too much for this man. He's too dangerous back there.
His
Hawks
last
go
couple
forward.
have been poor, though, Jim.
This is Harry Taylor, unable to take it. Kolodjasny was good. Enright now at half back. Steps through a couple, gets a handball to Menegola.
On centre wing, Southern Stand wing side, the Cats go forward. McCarthy coming through really effectively back there. Was Burton, did really well, the young man. Kicks inside 50. Oh, he's going to get a free kick up there for holding.
Well, that's probably a matchup they didn't want, Ruggles on Rioli on that occasion. It's a big responsibility for the young man. And I reckon you get very nervous when you're getting a long ball coming over the top to a running Cyril Rioli. Just not much in it. Let me tell you right now, Cyril's holding him as much as he was holding Cyril. Very clever.
I think your point is a very good one though, Chief. How nervous will you be with Rioli one-on-one? Any player in the game, and particularly a young player like Ruggles. 44-11 this year for Cyril. Elite.
Blood rule for Scott Selwood, I think. And also Luke Hodge.
You can hear the umpire. Hodge's got a lot of
I
clarity.
think they've had a head clash, have they? Geez, blood everywhere on both of them.
So we get a bit of a pause here. The umpire just saying to Cyril, just wait till the blood rules have been taken care of. So it might be a bandage around the head job for both of those, I would have thought, Hodge and Scott Selwood. Here it is, Chief.
Head clash.
Go, Matt.
So now Rioli, who's had a long time to think about this one. And he's going to kick it from 45 metres to the punt road end of the MCG for the Hawks' second goal of the night. He had too much time to think about it.
You kicked it off 2 steps.
Just the uncontested marks. The Hawks are at 21 v Geelong's 11. It's an area, particularly across the Hawks' half-back line, that the Cats really need to stiffen up and put a bit more pressure on.
1, 2, 8 apiece. Triple M National Crime Check scoreboard. 19 gone first term.
Just looking at the Chemist Warehouse screen there. Luke Hodge is going to retire with a battered head. He has put it in the furnace so many times. Rioli ground level. Puopolo then went and found it. And found a lot of space. The poo wheels around and swings it across the face. Misses the lot out in the full. 128 apiece. National Crime Check scoreboard. Police checks fast and 100% online. Luke Darcy calling the action. Chris Judd and Jason Dunstall special comments for Shell V Power. Good mark taken by Reece Stanley at half-back. Ash Chua, hard yakka stats. Doc and Howie, beautiful 45-degree ball. Hits Enright. Enright just wants to pump it long. Menzel's got a long leash. Takes it outside 50. Wants to take on Birchall. And then the left foot high ball. At the back, Smith, a big fist. Numbers back here with Hawthorn though, and they organise themselves pretty well.
We're going to get it out to Gibson on defensive 50. Well organised back there was Whitecross who managed to get the footy to Gibbo.
13-6, the inside 50s in favour of Hawthorn, 1 goal, 2 apiece.
Had a look at the corridor. Josh Gibson.
Well, Poppy with
there.
a run.
Below Chief saw it. He launched and he delivered for his Chief.
Oh, he loves it, doesn't he?
He had the launching pad and he's so good at coming down with a footy. The little man Piopolo. So now he shapes into the corridor. In the end, a long high one down the line. Fitzpatrick fisted away from him. Front and centre Dangerfield. Reasonably quiet, too, man.
Yeah, 6 touches.
That's reasonably quiet for Danger. Oh, Hawkins with a big fly.
Jeez.
Stuck the one mid out. Couldn't bring it to ground. Free kick. Will go the way of the Cats. And Mitch Duncan will take it. 70 out. City end of the MCG. The Cats are attacking to.
Mitchy Duncan, 2 kicks from home.
Start behind.
And he's just got a hold for a moment and then he pumps it in. Reece Stanley at the back, dangerous here, hands to it, couldn't hang on. Cowan went without it. Mitchell just pumped it out of the area, but it's going to come back in through big Domsey Lonergan, who takes it, lowers the eyes, goes for Joel Selwood. He's playing some sort of game, Joel Selwood. Contested mark, and then a squaring ball to a wide open Ruggles outside 50. And he gets to Motlop inside 50. It wasn't a great ball. Motlop goes back and finds it. And then from long range just sits it up high. Bartel parked under it. Defensive fist, Lewis out of play.
So a boundary throw in. Cats in attack. 1-2-8 apiece. And we've just got 4 minutes remaining in this first quarter. What a grab from Piopolo a few moments ago. So let's have a look at what's on offer here for the Cats. Selwood has been incredible. Thought he might have got a free kick, nothing doing. Good decision from the umpire, Hawkins. Little handball to Ruggles, not a noted goal kicker. Left foot high ball, Bartel, Gibson. And the timely fist, as he's done so often, Gibbo in the end through for a rush behind. 139 to 128, Cats by a point.
Made more astounding, Chief, the Puopolo grab when you realise that he's a card-carrying dwarf. Oh, please. He's got a 4 in front of his height. He doesn't even get into the 5-foot range. Pooh. And yet his ability overhead is just extraordinary. To himself, Birchall. And then down the line. Kick, not a lot of carry. Look at Selwood. His numbers, please, Ash.
Yeah, he's had 8 disposals, JB. Half of his possessions contested.
Had a lot of the ball, Grant Birchall, but has not used the ball well. That hurts the Hawks.
So Joel Selwood,
Just
September specialist, goes for Hawkins. Oh, nice hitch and climb from Big Hawk.
Well, you've got to love the kick because Selwood just looked at the setup and he said, if I chip it on top of the Hawthorn player, that gives Tom Hawkins a run and jump. And he didn't let him down, straight onto the back, knee into the back of the head of James Frawley. No one coming over the top. Hawks will be disappointed that no one else came third man up.
So the big man, who's worked himself into some form in recent weeks, can extend this Geelong lead to 7 points. Only about 25-30 out. Not a heap of angle, and the kick's good. Don't you love seeing that in a final from your big man? Huge contested mark, and then go back and smack it through. 2-3-15. Hawks are 1-2-8. Triple M National Crime Check scoreboard.
Really good finish there by Hawkins, but as Chief touched on, it was really set up by the Joel Selwood kick and the ability to not kick at 55 metres and allow all the zoning defenders to give third up aerial assist. Just chip it on the defender's head and let Hawkins do the rest. I'd like to see Geelong just change their angles a little bit more to give their tall forwards one-on-one opportunities. We've seen Stanley look dangerous, Hawkins now. The more one-on-one opportunities they can get up forward, the better for Cats.
the past few years, we've seen so much of Leighton coming over the top in that situation. And Gibson's got his hands full tonight. He wasn't able to get third man up, and Hawkins did the rest. So it's the Hawks going forward via Hodge, the skipper, to send up forward. Fisted away by Kolajasny, slapped forward by Rioli, out the back bruised. Guthrie in front of him. Awkward footy. Came off the back of the heel of Cowan. Now Danger picks it up. Tumbles a left footer. Look at Hodge go back with the flight. No worries there. Took the mark on his chest. Showmakers under a bit of pressure. A really hot handball. Giray did well to make sure it didn't get past him. Now they go with a long high ball in 50. Gunston, really tough one to mark. It bounced on the ground in the end. Here the umpire, free kick to the Cats against Isaac Smith. And Mitch Duncan, the recipient.
And Cyril gets up and just remonstrates with Big Domsy Lonergan. You don't see the Big Doms involved in too many blues over the career as Guthrie. Long ball straight into the path of Gibson. Had to control it with Bartel coming at him. Well done, Gibbo. Handball back to Mitchell, who went to ground with no one anywhere near him. Cowan belted in a tackle by Shields. Should have been rewarded. It wasn't.
Almost looks like Jimmy Bartell's doing a defensive forward job on Josh Gibson. So interesting to see how that transpires.
2-3-15 to 1-2-8. Cats are 7-point leaders.
Free kick, Luke Bruce.
Bruce off the ball, free kick.
Luke Bruce.
Sam Mitchell not understanding it's not his kick.
They're trying to play the advantage.
Right.
But when it's held up that long, you're not going to get away with that.
Bruce,
Plus it's a stat, Jim.
yeah, that's it. Back to Birchall. Birchall, nicer kick there. Gets it to Shields outside 50. Shields goes to Lewis inside 50. Lonergan comes across the front. Selwood, a high ball, and it's touched, so they've got to park themselves under it. Double fisted from Shields inside 50. It eluded Mackie. Well done, Lewis went and got it. Isaac Smith now, handball. Missed its target. McCarthy missed it as well. Duncan's hands, okay to Motlop. He goes back and gets it, Blitzarves. Now to Cowan. Cowan just pumps it long down the line. Hawkins has been good already. It got through his hands. Birchall's now got to get a play on the footy. Reece Stanley in there. Motlop too. And the kick goes out of play. And it's going to be thrown in inside forward 50 City end.
They really have relaxed the deliberate out of bounds rule, Juddy, the first look at the final and a quarter we've seen so far.
They probably have, but I still think it's a different rule when it's in your forward line as to when it's in your back line.
And there's no doubt his intent wasn't to kick it out of bounds. It was just a poor kick off the ground.
7-point lead to the Cats. We've got under a minute remaining in the first quarter. Ricochet off hands, and now Frawley on the last line. A nervous moment, then he barreled one out of defence. Showmaker's got to try and contend with a couple. Did pretty well, held it up. Menzel was one, Kolajasny the other. He dropped it, Kolajasny. And I thought he might have been awarded the free kick. The tackler, which was Showmaker's, and no, it's been off hands and out of bounds. So 7-point margin, 29 seconds remaining. The Cats with a 15-8 lead in this first quarter. Blitzarves, McAvoy, Hodge, Bruce, well tackled. Didn't dispose of the footy. How's the umpire going to call that one? He heard it. Cats free kick. Holding the footy.
Mitch Duncan has it. A late one here would be liquid gold. He goes long inside 50. Gibson a nice fist. To the ground. Smith's taken when he didn't have the footy. No free for him. Dangerfield pumped it back to Blitzarves. High left foot ball out in the full. Not going to matter. Interesting. First quarter goes the Cats' way. 2-3-15. Hawthorn 1-2-8. As Blitzarves and Hodge just exchange pleasantries on the siren. 7-point lead, Cats. It's quarter time. The big final. Play the Monopoly game at Macca's. A 1 in 5 chance to win great prizes instantly. More with Chris Judd, more with Jason Dunstall, as well as Luke Darcy, Ash with the hard yakka stats. Howie and Doc down on the boundary for Bob Jones Team Arts. Oh, still more to go here. A few of the Warriors getting involved now. Hodge won't mind any of that. Big Hawk just gets over there, and Hodgie reminds McCarthy that just get a body of work together before you start messing with me. And now there's a bit of trash being spoken, which we absolutely love. All right, quarter time. Thoughts of the boys next. 2-3 to 1-2. Cats by 7 points. McDonald's Triple M Rocks footy. A 2-1 first term sees the Cats 2-3-15. Hawthorn 1-2-8. Jason Dunstall's with us, as is Chris Judd.
Been a good start by the Cats, even though they mightn't have won the territorial battle. They look the more dangerous team. I think Selwood and Duncan have given them great drive in the middle of the ground. And when they go long forward, when you've got marking targets like Tom Hawkins and Reece Stanley, the physical size of them, they look dangerous. And it gives the other players an opportunity around them to get into the game. At the other end, I think they've got plenty of tall defenders that seem to be able to punch the ball a long way away from the contest. So the Hawks have got to look shorter. They've got to keep the ball on the ground. The Cats looking good in the air.
It was an interesting start. Geelong got right on top with the clearance battle there for a period of the game, and I reckon that really got them back in the contest. The first half of that quarter, the ball was almost exclusively in Hawthorn's forward half, and they probably just didn't capitalise on their opportunities. Geelong's back did a really good job of holding up, and were able to tide it over and steer the ship, and late in that quarter they got their chance to get a lick of the ice cream.
Harry and the doc for Bob Jane teammates.
Yeah, the main injury concerns were Hodge and Selwood. They hit heads very, very strongly. Both taped up. Both should be right to go. It hasn't rained since an hour before the start of the game, but a lot of rain in Melbourne today. It's very slippery.
Ash Chua for Hardyaka.
Joel Selwood, number 1 ranked player, 8 disposals, 2 clearances.
Nice work, Chew, man. Plenty of verbal out there. Hodgie on the quarter-time siren wanted a piece of just about everyone, and now we've got the second quarter underway. Bruce Selwood was incredible in the first quarter. Back in there again, socket off the ground by Hodge. Spills out the centre wing. Lewis fell over. Lincoln McCarthy with some skill and speed picked it up to Blitzarves. A little bit of time. It's a rarity in this final so far.
Holding. Geelong, Selwood. Selwood kick.
That's an
Against
off-the-ball
Luke
one,
Hodge.
Chief. Fair way off the footy.
Yeah, against Luke Hodge. He's trying to stop him running forward.
Oh, now Fitty. Abuse Fitty.
That does hurt.
Now that's interesting because it wasn't the umpire that paid the free kick that paid the downfield.
I'm in, Stevo.
Oh, that's a body blow, Chief. As early as it is in the game.
Ran off the ball. And then it was
Just a little bit of feeling in this one. Often when you get two mature teams, they don't buy into a lot of that, but there's a bit going on here.
Wait.
Definitely a free kick. It was a ridiculous free kick from Hodge. A silly one to give away.
That's a short 50.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
They've taken him from
Should be the top of the square.
Oh, he pointed at the umpire. That was the reason.
So it's Selwood who gets brought within 20 metres directly in front. Punt road in, and Selwood, who is in extraordinary touch in this final, kicks the Cats' third goal. 3-3-21. Hawks 1-2-8. Triple M Ego outdoor power equipment scoreboard.
It's a very fine line when you try to impose yourself physically and not give away costly free kicks and or goals. And unfortunately on that occasion for Hawthorn, it's just gone a bit far. Luke Hodge has been plenty of niggle off the ball. He chased Joel Selwood, gave him a little bit. He didn't really hit him, but it was just a little bit of a clip in the tackle. An obvious free kick. I'm not sure what Hodgie was remonstrating about when he got up, and the fact that he pointed at the umpire makes it demonstrative, and that's when the umpire will just pay a 50-metre free kick, so you can't really argue.
Yep, in a low-scoring game, Chief.
That hurts.
You can't be handing them out. We're back in the middle. 3-1 now. Selwood again. Brilliant down to Dangerfield. Dangerfield high inside 50. Reece Stanley's tracking the footy. He's got it inside 50, but very wide.
That little tap on from Selwood was brilliant.
Yeah, wasn't it?
He won't get a stat for it, but very classy.
13-point lead for the Cats. And things just starting to fall for the Cats. A little 1% is going their way, and this would be big if he can slot this. Up against the paint of the boundary line is Reece Stanley. Kick on the way. And it's narrow. So 3-4-22 to 1-2-8. Triple M Ego outdoor power equipment scoreboard.
It's a good opportunity for Reece Stanley. He gets the inexperienced Ryan Burton as an opponent, and you just think he fancies it when it comes in.
Giray with a kick in, finds Jordan Lewis. Oh, it's an awkward ball from Lewis. He's coughed it up to Mitch Duncan. He was one between two, Duncan, and Lewis picked him out, so Mitch Duncan can send this one right back inside 50.
And for all he's caught on the mark.
Oh, no.
Duncan's kick was bizarre as well. Around the body job, nearly hit Lonergan on the chest, picked up by Gunston.
Is that deliberate?
He's kicked at 60, Chief. He's got it to the edge of the line.
Oh, I thought he was going to pay that. They have relaxed on it, haven't they? A shot of Chris Scott in the Geelong coach's box, got the arms up in the air saying, has to be out.
Boundary
deliberately.
Boundary throw in centre wing members' side. It's 22-8, the Cats with the lead.
14 points it is, right in front of Howie. That ball thrown in, and Docker on wide, down to Blitzarves. Handball missed, players wearing his jumper and got to Mitchell. And then Lewis Dumps it down the line. Schoenmaker's a nice touch. Bruce was good. Got it to Gunston. Gunston just wants to put it into the path of Rioli. Beautiful ball. Beautiful ball, Gunston. Now Rioli running back towards goal has taken it 20 out.
It's that situation we spoke about before when Cyril Rioli gets goal side of you and you haven't got any teammates there between you and the goal, you feel incredibly exposed, and there's not much Cam Guthrie could have done about that.
Well, and they desperately need to get something out of Gunston, out of Bruce, out of Rioli. They haven't really got it yet, but all players getting involved in the build-up here.
A must convert this one. Not much angle, only 20-25 out. Cyril Rioli has kicked a goal. Important. 2-2-14, 3-4-22. Triple M Ego Outdoor Power Equipment scoreboard.
Without stating the bleeding obvious, obviously all goals are worth 6 points, but some feel more important than others, and the Cats really started that quarter with a fair bit of momentum, and it really felt like the Hawks needed that one to stay right in this contest. So a very important goal by Cyril Rioli, and it's quite often he's the one who pops up when they really need someone to the most.
It's his 45th goal for the year, Cyril Rioli, All-Australian. Just been unbelievable. The big moments when they've needed him, he's delivered every time, Rioli. And as Juddy so eloquently said, that felt like a massive goal. Even though it's early stages, second term, 5 minutes in. Hawks desperately need it. McAvoy won it. Hodge got an appetite for some physical pressure. It's the Cats who sent it forward via Scott Selwood, though. Big Pat Hawkins with his massive frame just absorbed the pressure and took a big mark.
The size is troubling the Hawks' defence. He is a big man. Frawley against him, just got bumped out of the way. Stratton trying to come over the top. Might have got away with a little one, Dangerfield on Stratton, but Hawkins just stood underneath the ball.
It's where you love your big power forward in the final, isn't it? Just to relieve the pressure, take a contested mark. He's third in the AFL across the year. 4 contested marks, had a 6-goal haul in round 23, his best effort of the year from 50 at the MCG. He's done this against the Hawks before, and he nails it through. Nice reply. Cats get the quick one back. 4-4-28. Hawks 2-2-14. Triple M Ego Outdoor Power Equipment scoreboard.
Brilliant finish there by Hawkins, but it's really the clearances where Geelong are starting to get on top. Geelong are 12 clearances to the Hawks 6 so far, and that's proven to be really important. Players like Selwood, Dangerfield really getting involved there, and that'll be an area that the Hawks want to get on top on sooner rather than later.
Shell V-Power designed to improve performance. A special comments elite tonight from Jason Dunstall, Chris Judd. 2 men who know what it's like in September to get the job done. 28-14. A 14-point lead for the Cats. Down Smith. Puopolo now in the middle. And then Caddy went to ground without the ball. Danger went and got it. His handball broken up by Hodge. Menegola taken in the Hodge tackle. Shields just a little mini fumble. And then Hodge just an inching kick that worked out to Gunston, who was nice and clean on the wing. Goes for a standing torpy. Just a great big long spinning barrel. Guthrie, Rioli, and the ball off hands and out of play. 35 around from the City end goal.
That is not an easy kick on the run, just to turn it into a torp, and he barreled it a good 55.
It was a good kick in the end, Chief.
Yeah,
it got over the traffic that he wanted it to. And he got the meterage he was after, which gives the Hawks an opportunity with the boundary throw in here. Deep inside 50. Free kick.
Against Mitchell.
It's been brewing for a little bit, Mitchell and Scott Selwood. They've been tucking into each other the last couple of minutes.
And at a lot of the stoppages, Mitchell's trying to go to Dangerfield to try and break that tag.
It's just an old-fashioned hard tag. Scotty Selwood all over Sam Mitchell. Kicking the Blitzarves direction. Burgoyne spilled the handball out of bounds.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not sure if he saw it or if he just listened to the Geelong players appealing for it then.
Of all the ones they've let go, that was probably the least deliberate. Lonergan down the wing, members side. Stratton with a big fist, and the ball goes over. So it'll be thrown in. Yes, Ash?
Yeah, JB, the Cats are now up by plus 19 in contested ball, 54-35 hard yakka.
It's not something that they get too bothered by, the Hawks. Contested possession, it's never been a strength, but if it's too lopsided, they're going to be in trouble.
Burgoyne handball. Gunston's been good. Now Mitchell sticks it into the guts of Rioli. 45 from home. And Cyril goes for a squaring one, and it's in good hands. Gunston same distance away, but a better look at the goal face.
Just interesting to see Puopolo come up from the forward line and often go to Dangerfield at stoppages, and to see what he's trying to do there. I think he's aiming to get out the front door and try and hurt Dangerfield a little bit going the other way.
So Jack Gunston, 48 goals again this season. An incredibly effective player he's been for the Hawks since coming from Adelaide. Set shot, he looks like he's pulled it left. In fact, barely got the trip. It stayed in play. Menegola picks it up. His kick smothered by Hill, well done. Ruggles went and got it. Hill went and got him. Ruggles handball down the line, and Danger's pretty happy to take it out.
So close attention, Liam Shields with Dangerfield in that contest. The Hawks, they've had this one in their forward half for a while. They get another boundary throw in. A lot of numbers around it. As you'd expect, Selwood still a lot of work he's putting in on Mitchell. Fitzpatrick comes up, boundary throw in. Gunston in there for Hawthorn. Now Caddy spills out to Burgoyne. One step kick from Burgoyne.
Wow.
What about that? He is a genius, Sean Burgoyne. The Silk and the Hawks get goal number 3. 3-2-20. They trail Geelong 4-4-28. Triple M Ego Outdoor Power Equipment scoreboard.
It's a very rare skill. I mean, if you blink, you miss that, Juddy, don't you?
Absolutely, and in today's footy, where a lot of people look at total possessions for a match and weigh up who's played well, Sean Burgoyne's one who needs to touch the ball very few times to have a huge impact, and looks pretty slippery out there, but he's taken that as clean as a whistle, couple of steps, and put it through from 50 against the flow of the game. Incredible goal.
8-point lead now, Geelong. And we played 10.5 second term Triple M Ego Outdoor Power Equipment scoreboard. 56 volts of power beyond belief. It's a good one. You just don't get the feeling that one team's going to bust this open. Free kick going Hodges' way as Stanley just gets rid of Mitchell.
Got to be careful, Reece Stanley, because that's a sure way to give away 50 as well.
It's going to go to Jordan Lewis as, again, Mitchell just bashes into everyone.
He's taken on both Selwoods.
Yes.
He's sort of quite enjoyed running into blokes that are standing on the mark tonight, Mitchell, getting up a bit of momentum, and not a bad little strategy he's come up with.
Well, all of this delay has suited the Cats. They've been able to get everyone behind Jordan Lewis, centre of the ground. So Geordie's now got a sideways outlet to Burgoyne, which he uses. Birchall. Birchall on the wing. And again, every player ahead of him in the Hawks forward half, if you like. So back to Duray, still centre of the G. And Duray now to Frawley, who attempted to fumble a chesty and then hung on to it. But he's on the Melbourne logo members wing. Now, they've made no ground at all.
Oh, he had Bruce. Smith in space, sorry.
Long and high to half forward. Schoenmakers has it fisted away from him and out. Down to you, Howie.
Yeah, Burton for the Hawks, number 35, has been getting a lot of work on his calf throughout the first and second quarters. He's now gone down to the rooms, so not good news for Ryan Burton.
Thanks, Howie, for Bob Jane T-Mart. And they're at ground level, boundary throwing in attack the Hawks. On the edge of 50, Mitchell sliding through. Cowan picks it up. Just boots it high and long. Hodge back defensively. Menzel did well to get the fist on it. Hodge recovered first to the ball, picked it up. Going to come back through the corridor, smothered by Dangerfield though, and off his hands, Danger, and across the boundary line. So it's now a boundary thrown at half forward for the Cats. It's 28-20, 4-4-28. Hawthorn 3-3-20 on the Ego Outdoor Power Equipment scoreboard. 2
goals apiece in this second term. Thrown in right in front of our commentary position. Hill was clean and then had a fumble, if that makes any sense, and then missed with an attempted kick. Ruggles dispossessed, should have been holding the ball. Blitzarves went to get it at ground level. So did Schoenmakers. It spits to the back, and Smith spots Whitecross, true centre half back. Wants to give it off by hand. Now he has a bounce and delivers back to Birchall, who goes back to Whitecross. Lots of room to move Whitecross. He runs to half forward almost, and then long ball inside 50's good. Bruce takes it.
He played that brilliantly, Whitecross. He looked to change angles and go quick and look down the ground and had nothing to kick to. So he slowed it up, gave the handball to his teammate, and by the time he got it back, he had a much better option to kick to. Brilliant composure.
Luke Bruce, 43 goals for him this year. Again, an incredibly good mid-sized forward. He kicks this, we're back to 2 points. 30 odd, 40 metres out. 45-degree angle, City end. Bruce loves it. As soon as it left the boot, he had the fist in the air, Tommy Smith style. And we're back to 2 points, 4-4-28 to 4-2-26. Ego Outdoor Power Equipment scoreboard.
Well, Juddy spoke about it with Brendan Whitecross. Here's a player that's fought back from a knee reconstruction. He looked like he was going to be a player. He got injured in the finals, got injured in the next final series again. It's been a long fight back, had to work hard in the VFL for quite some time to find his form, to get back. But if you've got composure to buy yourself a bit of time, what that does is allow options to open up further afield. So when he first looked up, there was nothing there. But he gave a hand pass, he got it back, he carried the ball, and that just allows players that are moving to eventually find space, and it was Bruce that got on the end of it.
Just some key ball winners for the Hawks. Lewis 15, Gunston 9-5 in this quarter. Hard yakka.
Last 2 goals of the game, Burgoyne and Bruce. So the real class of the Hawks getting it back to within 2 points. It spills out to half forward from the bounce. Bradley Hill knocked off it, picked up by Enright. Scott Selwood. Colin Jasny took on the tackler at Gunston, coughed it up. The Hawks really applying some serious heat here, and they do well to trap it on the edge of 50 for a ball up and momentum swing, Juddy. The Hawks have really got a nice little period here.
Yeah, I think uncontested marks are 33 to Hawks, 18 to Geelong, so that's been important.
Fisted forward from the ball up, taken by Enright. He cleared the defensive zone. Burgoyne dropped the mark. Rarely does that. Socket off the ground. Stratton with courage again. Committed his body. Fisted it forward to Lewis. Over the top of him was Selwood. Right on centre wing here. Members side of the MCG. Menzel picked it up on the non-preferred left. But it's all Hawthorn back there. And Chip Frawley's got it.
Goes backwards to Duray. And his little one just to Jordan Lewis. With Joel Selwood closing. Lewis now to Birchall. And Birchall will go sideways to Whitecross, who's got Hill running out of wing. Bradley Hill, nice ball and well focused. Duray with a big man, Blitzars coming at him. Back to Isaac Smith, centre of the ground. Now Birchall, the link man, long inside 50 he goes. Harry Taylor with a fist. Rioli dangerous ground level, but it's Mackie who brings it away.
Picked it up really nicely, Andrew Mackie at half back. Now looking for Bartell.
Shepherd out.
Against Mitch Duncan, Chief.
Yep. Just trying to create a marking opportunity for Bartell, but took the Hawthorn defender Dre out of play.
Starting to find some loose targets here. Hawthorn by foot. Lewis worked Guthrie underneath it. Out the back though, Harry Taylor. He just meanders across to that one and then shoveled it to Guthrie. Spearing underground ball. Tommy Hawkins went with the one-hander. Didn't gather it. Frawley did. Birchall. Stratton to Burgoyne under some pressure from Selwood. That was Scott Selwood. Showmakers, Shields, they find a way through, or do they? Well done, McCarthy, smothered the kicker. Shields, picked up by Menegola. Back to Harry Taylor at half back. Hawthorn pressure really starting to be a factor here at the moment. And then Colin Jasny coughed it up. Piopolo runs inside 50. Rioli over the top. Clever little tap to Gunston, to Bruce. Big goal, Hawthorn. 3 in a row, and they are in the lead. What about that? 5-2-32. Geelong 4-4-28. There you go, Outdoor Power Equipment scoreboard. Big play, Juddy.
It's a big pattern emerging with the Hawks' goals. There's players running towards their own goals, taking a mark and kicking a set shot. Or in that occasion, it was on the run, and great tap from Cyril and Bruce, who ended up finishing off with the goal. But Geelong really starting to look exposed once the Hawks get goal side.
And again, for me, it's a ground level ball, which allows the Hawks smalls to put defensive pressure on. They had hand pass after hand pass. The Cats couldn't escape the pressure. And the other big thing that's having an impact this quarter, Jim, Joel Selwood and Paddy Dangerfield, 1 possession each.
Tua.
Yeah, in the last 10 minutes, time in possession. Hawthorn 73%, Geelong only at 27.
I don't know what the tackle numbers look like, Gash, but they've dialed up the pressure, the Hawks. It's visible, and Cats aren't liking it. Smith a little fumble. Menegola went and got it. Here's another example of it. Scott Selwood walked into all sorts of trouble. Colin Jasny's had some iffy moments. He went back by hand trying to find a teammate and couldn't.
Dragged it in.
On the ball.
Umpire in perfect position to see that.
Liam Shields.
Don't hold! Don't hold! Right out, mate.
Short to Gunston, but it's going to have to come back.
Well, it looked like he was behind the mark, didn't he?
So Shields, point of the square,
Shepherd outside 5.
has got Lewis on short gets to him. Lewis had a look at Isaac Smith and then went further afield. Some holding on Fitzpatrick. Rioli again out the back. No. The handball from Guthrie. He's through for a rush behind. 5-3-33. 4-4-28. Hawks lead it by 5 points.
50
and
metres.
50.
He got rid of the ball, Gunston. Moved it away from where it was, so that's a 50-metre penalty. That hurts.
There's been the pot all year on Geelong that they rely too much on Selwood and Dangerfield, and you hope right now that some other blokes stand up and it's not just left up to those two.
What was that from Cam Guthrie? It's sent out back beside the barrel was the option. Through came McCarthy. It's sent up forward. Out the back, Menzel's a chance here. He's a clever player. Danger took his eye off it and dropped it.
Did.
Picked up by Hodge, who smashes his way through. And so Danger and Selwood, two-man, no influence at all in this quarter.
He would have run into an open goal.
He had it spent before he had it. Did Danger.
Spot on Das combined, just the 3 possessions.
Smith, little kick forward. Menzel getting held. Scott Selwood went and got it. Went to Duncan in the pocket. Duncan tries to drag a high free and he's going to get paid, I reckon.
Geelong! High tackle! High tackle!
He did everything to make sure the umpire saw it.
Isaac Smith saying he didn't touch him. But we get the benefit of a replay.
It was the non-controlling umpire chief who paid that one for a
It
fair
looked
way.
high initially, I must say.
I wouldn't be waving the arms around too much in protest if I was Isaac Smith.
No.
The umpires generally don't take too favourably to that.
He went over the shoulder. So you can see why the umpire paid it, no problem. Got to get low with those tackles. You know the player's dropping the shoulder, trying to get underneath you. You've got to go low.
So Duncan from deep in the pocket, punt road end, to give the Cats back the lead.
He's dried up this quarter as well, Mitch Duncan, so a big opportunity here.
Take a very good kick. And it's across the face. And McAvoy just helped it out. Probably should have let it go.
He could have marked it or let it go out in the full.
Yep. Instead of that, he tossed it over, and now we've got a stoppage deep.
That's what Ruckman do, Jim.
Let's get down to Howie, Bob Jane teammates.
Das Ryan Burton, he's up on deck now. He's still getting a lot of work done on that lower right leg. He's with the trainers at the moment. He's been off for about 10 minutes.
They have Howie in the dock down there all over everything before anyone else in the game. Burgoyne from the back half of the ground. Got it to centre wing. Shellmakers has drawn a free kick against Enright. Look at Rioli running back with the fly to the footy. That's the direction the footy goes. He launches. Backing back. The Cats defence did well. Bradley Hill picked it up. Bruce gets the handball, 70 metres out, flicked it back to Hill, sliced his way through some traffic. Coming through, this is Burton, I think, back on the ground. That was Shellmakers to Shield, stepped around. Kolajasny, short one to Isaac Smith, fits it away. Picked up again by Shellmakers. Menegola ragdolled him, dumped him to the ground. And came up with a big play. Geelong free kick.
Menegola has it inside defensive 50. Short one to Mackie. Still inside defensive 50. He's got options running sideways. Harry Taylor, one of them, to Blitzarves, who never stops running. Still on the wing. Nothing to go to. Got a handball back to Harry Taylor. And just dump it long down the line. Hope that Menzel can do something. He didn't get a run at the footy. He'll get a free.
Got to turn. He's big enough to turn and face the footy, James Frawley, rather than worrying about someone like a Daniel Menzel. Not going to sort of do any damage to him.
Menzel low and hard inside 50. And good defensive fist takes the footy out.
Some of the numbers for the Cats, Jim, below their normal output. Caddige's 4 touches, averaging 21. Menzel 4, has not scored. Motlop just the 4 and Bartel just the 4.
Taylor Duray looks sore with the left hand after that.
He's still holding it, isn't he?
We'll keep an eye on that with Howe in the duck. Cats in attack, boundary throwing. McAvoy went with the hack out of mid-air, did Hodge. Got good purchase on it, gained about 45 metres. Got it all the way out to centre wing. On the southern stand wing side of the ground is holding his fist still down there, Taylor Duray.
Might have landed on it. Braced himself.
6 minutes left. 5-point lead, Hawthorn. It's been tight all night. And we're approaching half-time. Menegola, Dangerfield. Dangerfield just coughed up the handball. Smith went and got it. And then Blitzarves. And a throw against Smith. Just now these little one-on-ones going Hawthorn's way. Mitchell just dropped it through to Burgoyne on the wing. Long 45-degree ball from Burgoyne. Here's Duray. The bounce just didn't favour him. He had to go and track the ball, and now Bartel and Cowan have got him. And a ball up's a good result for the Hawks.
Yep.
Jordan Lewis with 18 touches. I reckon it's as sharp as I've seen him for a few months. Obviously enjoyed the week off.
What about the Mitchell kick,
He dropped it for a right foot and kicked it with his left. It was bizarre. Half forward, ball up. Hawks in attack here. Mitchell again searching for the footy. Picked up by Hodge. His tackle was effective. Dangerfield goes back to Hodge though. 60 metres out, drives it to the goal square. Gunston and Guthrie. Gunston keeps his feet.
Jack.
Fitzpatrick casts the role of a rover. Can he do it again? Big Jack snap around the body and across the face for a minor score. So 5-4-34 Hawthorn. 1 goal lead, 4-4-28. The Cats. That's on the Triple M Ego Outdoor Power Equipment scoreboard. What can the doc tell us down there?
Totally Dre, Doc.
Yeah, look, it looks like it could be a broken bone. He's very sore. The docs are just assessing him now, and in fact going to take him down the rooms and have a closer look.
Guthrie to himself, and then just high and long. Mark taken by Howe, who came in third up, and then a squaring ball in good hands, Burgoyne. They suddenly don't look dangerous with the Nurry at all, Geelong. They can't move it with any conviction.
What the Hawks have done, though, is they've started to look short. They've started to hit targets, look in little pockets of space. They've taken away that long bomb that suits the Geelong Tools. Whether they can keep doing that remains to be seen.
Sean Burgoyne, one fantastic goal already this term. This to make it 4 in a row and make it a 12-point lead. To the members' end, Burgoyne. It's drifting right. It's a behind. 4-4-28 Geelong. 5-5-35 Hawthorn. Triple M Ego Outdoor Power Equipment scoreboard.
4:34 remaining in the first half of this qualifying final. The two old enemies, Cats and the Hawks. And as Jim said, a 7-point lead to the Hawks. Mackie to himself from full back, and then he kicked it straight down the throat of Shellmakers. They had a heap of the play in their forward half of the ground. Short one to Mitchell. 60 out, Chief.
Yeah, he'd love to look for a little chip, you know that.
That's
not 15.
Called not 15. That was interesting to Gunston. Now Gibson, kick smothered from Guthrie, ricocheted to Bartel, wrapped up in a Gibson tackle, sliding through Duncan, didn't get the footy.
Oh no!
Picked up by Big Fitzy, and Fitzy launches a shot and goal.
No!
He's missed. No, it's a cone.
Come on.
Just at the last minute, he can get a nice right to left on a footy, Big Jack.
Two shots in the space of 30 seconds.
Come on.
5-6-36 Hawthorn, 4-4-28 Geelong. Ego Outdoor Power Equipment scoreboard.
Just got to remember who he is, Fitzy, Chief.
Yeah, wouldn't hurt him to look at a handball option.
Mac, long ball, looking for Smith, one-on-one. But look at the outnumber here for the Hawks. Mitchell's kick not great. And a nice slap out of there by Ruggles. Good work for Bartel.
Yeah, they're on here.
Who hasn't had a heap of pill, I've got to say. Over the top now to Menzel. Menzel, Duncan. Linking numbers out here for the Cats if they can manoeuvre it. It's Motlop now to Joel Selwood. Inside out, Torp. Bounces dangerously inside 50. Big Hawk goes and gets it. Releases Cowan. Cowan, top of the square. In comes Caddy and takes the mark.
Hasn't had his busiest night, but very courageous mark there by Caddy. Just kept his eye on the ball, running back with the flight, and Geelong really need this one.
It'll drag him back to just 2 points down. Josh Caddy, set shot, virtually no angle, only about 15 out. To the punt road end, and he has kicked a goal. 5-4-34 Geelong, 5-6-36 Hawthorn. Triple M Ego Outdoor Power Equipment scoreboard.
Well, I think the nature of these clashes is that teams have momentum for a while and then the other team tends to wrest it back, and we always see ebbs and flows. There's never a huge margin between these two.
No, but you're right. I don't think either team's going to lie down, at least not for a long time yet. It's Hawks are they've been in complete control, but you look at the scoreboard and they're only 2 points up.
Just with the Cats, they're ranked first in the comp for kicking efficiency at 69%. In this quarter, they're only tracking at 52, 61 for the game, hard yakka.
Nice work, the true man. The best in the business, the true man, and his part of Triple M footy. So back to 2 points, 2:52 remaining in the half. Hodge in the centre. Little clever kick to Mitchell, and not 15. Has to go back and help out again, Hodgie. Picks it up to Gibbo. Gibson inside 50. Bruce diving attempt at the mark. Bradley Hill lurking. Cowan came in, collected the body. Left the footy for Kolajasny. And now Lonergan to Bartel, who slides in, takes a good mark, which does not look like true man.
He's only had the 5 touches.
Really good kick from Lonergan out of defence, though. Relieved the pressure.
Bartel long, and it's good. He finds Reece Stanley, who just got rid of Stratton. Stanley off a step. Motlop in some space. Picks it up inside the field of play, does Stevie. And then he goes to the top of the square. Big boy McAvoy, brilliant. Got a hand in there, broke it up in the air, and then took it on the chest. A saving mark from the big ruckman. And now he goes for Burgoyne. Zach Smith with him, and Smith sees it out. So it's going to be thrown in 60 out from Geelong's punt road end goal. They trail this game by 2 points. We've got 1:53 seconds left in the first half.
So the boundary thrown right on the edge of 50. Punt road end. Cats in attack. Trailing by 2 points. Rioli. Danger's had a quiet quarter. Now he emerges with a footy. One step left foot bomb from the edge of 50. Just touched on the line. And rushed through for a minor score. 5-6-36 Hawthorn. 5-5-35 Geelong. Triple M Ego outdoor power equipment scoreboard.
And Birchall to bring the footy in. Virtually level pegging. Hawks by a point. Did we expect anything else? Long Birchall for McAvoy. Mackie to fly with him. Staying at ground level. Bruce wins a brilliant ball. He's got running help here. Gunston will want to give it to Hill. Instead he goes with a handball that really missed his target. It was Shields. McCarthy went sliding in. He handballed to no one. Mitchell able to go and win the ball. Gave it to Hodge. Hodge to Lewis. Lewis just maintains possession back to Stratton. And Stratton's at the centre of the MCG. Wants to kick it inside 50. It's wide, and Schoenmakers had Ruggles all day long for height. And the kick team was good.
Well, it's a good contested mark, Ryan Schoenmakers. That's what Hawthorn needs up forward. They don't look like taking contested marks. They've looked for the little pass. On occasions they have to go long. And the good thing about the kick from Stratton was he found a one-on-one.
So Big Shuey in game number 100 can give the Hawks a 7-point lead as we approach half-time. Very deliberate, just walking at the target and then pausing. Left foot ball, he loves it. He absolutely loved it, Schoenmakers. 6-6-42 to 5-5-35. Hawks by 7 points. Howie, down to you.
Taylor Dre back on the ground. Had that left hand strapped up now. Doc reckons he's probably had some medication as well. So keep an eye on how he hits the next footy with the left hand.
You don't always have a lot of opportunities as a key forward, but when you do, and particularly when you have one against a smaller opponent, you have to make the most of them. And Schoenmakers there found himself in a one-on-one on Ruggles. Was good enough to take the mark and then finished off with a very classy goal.
That's the voice of Chris Judd. We've got Chief Jason Dunstall, Shell V-Power special comments. And we'll just touch base with the Chew man here with the Triple M Hard Yakka, Stats Hard Yakka, making hard work look easy. What are you seeing, Chew?
Yeah, Dangerfield, 13 disposals. That's his second lowest tally and a half this year.
Just got another one there from the centre bounce, but the kick was poor. Hodge came in, met by Scott Selwood. In fact, it was McCarthy. This is Scott Selwood tracking the footy now, gives it back to Danger.
Oh, no,
and
Danger.
he shanked it out of bounds on the full. So not a great turn, this one, for the man who we think will win the Brownlow medal.
The left foot Torrey on a wet night, even for Dangerfield, is a highly ambitious kick.
Yep. Not sure what he was trying to bite off there, the Danger. So Lewis, who's been very good, is going to bring the footy back in.
I'd love to change direction and not have to go up the line.
Yeah.
He's got that option if he wants it now.
So he's going to bring it in now, and he'll go sideways and backwards, really. All the way back to Howe. And he goes out wide. Finds Frawley, whose kick was ordinary, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, chip.
A pulsating second term. 5-3 in favour of the Hawks, who take a 7-point lead into the halftime break. 6-6-42 to 5-5-35. You'll hear from the Duke next. Chris Judd and Jason Dunstall, Howie in the dock, and also Ash Chua. And all of this for McDonald's. Half-time at the G. Hawks by 7 points. It's Triple M Rocks Finals footy.
Oh, this is the halftime break for IGA Liquor. IGA Liquor, how the locals like it. And the scoreline reads 6-6-42 Hawthorn, 5-5-35 Geelong. The Hawks kicked 5-3 in that quarter, and it felt like they dominated almost all the possession and all the play. Chris Judd, Jason Dunstall, and the Chew man with me here at half-time. Almost felt like they could have been further in front, Juddy, with the amount of play they had, the Hawks, in that second term.
Yeah, they really had the game under control. They got on top of Selwood and Dangerfield through the middle. And their mids really started to get involved. Lewis had a great half. Hodge was really important a lot of the time on Selwood. And they just controlled the ball. They controlled uncontested marks and really played the game in their half.
It was the Stars, Chief. Burgoyne's goal off a couple of steps. Rioli stood up and was dangerous. Bruce kicked a couple who really just won big one-on-ones and got this great side back into a brilliant position.
Yeah, they've fought hard. I love what Lewis and Hodge have done in the middle of the ground for the Hawks. I think they've really helped start things. They were able to stop Dangerfield and Joel Selwood dominating the second quarter after those two dominated the first term. Really put pressure on them at the stoppages and actually won their share of clearances in that second term, so much so that the clearances are now 18 apiece. So that was a really good fight back by the Hawks. But a lot of work still to be done. Plenty of players, I think, can still lift for the Cats. So I think we've got a very entertaining second half still to unfold.
Explanation, Juddy, as to why Joel Selwood, who was unbelievable in the first quarter, and Dangerfield with a heap of possessions, why they drifted out of the game. Was there a change in strategy? Did anything different happen?
It didn't look like there was a huge structural change. Puopolo's been coming up a little bit onto Dangerfield at the stoppages, but look, sometimes players just drift in and out of games, and one of Geelong's great strengths this year has been how well Joel Selwood and Paddy Dangerfield have played. But in another way, it's also their Achilles heel, because at times they rely too heavily on those guys, and in finals you need 22 contributors, and for the Cats' sake, you really need some of the other players to really stand up and be counted now.
One genuine hard tag in this game, Chief and Juddy, is Scott Selwood's run around and really been all over Sam Mitchell. How have you seen that? Has it been a win for either team?
Yeah, look, it's probably a break-even. Scotty Selwood's had 13 possessions. You wouldn't say he's had much impact with them, but what he's done is he's kept Mitchell honest. I mean, Mitchell's had the 15 touches, hasn't had the sort of impact that he normally has. He's still been creative and he's still tried to bring players in around the ground, but I think he's doing a serviceable job, Scotty Selwood.
I think so. I think Mitchell's been pretty selfless too. If you look at what he's done, he's tried to drag Scotty Selwood to other players a lot of the time and create 2v1. So for Mitchell to still have the 15 touches but also to be playing that role, I think the Hawks would be pretty happy what he's done so far.
Expect nothing less when you see the Cats and the Hawks in a big game. Always going to be tight. 7 points the Hawks lead at half time. You just jumped in your car and you're with us here on Triple M Football. Let's check in with the Triple M Hard Yakka stats. Chairman, what have you got for us?
Yeah, thanks, Stars. Hawthorn dominating the inside 50s, 34-21. They've racked up 50 uncontested marks. This year when they win, they hit 86. Geelong have only had 21 for the game. Concerns for Geelong, their kicking efficiency. They're ranked number one in the comp at 69%. Well, tonight they're tracking at 60%. In the first quarter, Dangerfield and Joel Selwood combined had 18 touches. In that second, only 8. And just some leading ball winners for the Hawks. 20 to Jordan Lewis. Hodge with 16, Mitchell and Birchall 15, Gunston 12 possessions. Number one for net metres gained by disposal at 308 metres. And for the Cats, 15 to Dangerfield, but he's going at 38% by foot. But just some low numbers, Das. Menzel and Motlop combined this year, they've kicked 68 majors. Well, tonight, combined only 1 goal, along with their 12 touches.
For the Cats to average 45 inside 50s against per whole game, for the Hawks to already be up around 33 is a bit of a worrying sign.
Triple M Petters Star Performer Best on Ground Award, Chief, one of the most sought after awards in the game. Petters, the experts in undercart no ball, who in this first half has been the dominant players on the ground.
From a Hawthorn's perspective, I think Lewis, Hodge, Burgoyne have been very, very good. A little more even from a Geelong perspective. Dangerfield's at the top of the tree possession-wise, but he had a much quieter second term, and he's not having the impact yet that he has had with his possessions. Sam Menegola has been very good. So, as I said, there's a lot of Geelong players that have got room to lift, I think.
Juddy, at the start of the game, you were pretty bullish about the Cats tonight and felt like they just had maybe a little bit too much for Hawthorn. Are you reassessing, having seen the first half and the Hawks leading?
Yeah, I probably am. I don't think Geelong can allow Hawthorn to just chip the ball around and continue to take as many uncontested marks as they have so far. So they're going to have to find a way to put some pressure on and to force Hawthorn into taking a little bit more risk, because right now it's been clinical at times.
Tom Hawkins, the one big contested mark, hasn't really been a factor in the game. It looked like he maybe will impose himself at all, Chief?
He and Reece Stanley look dangerous, but the inside 50's dried up. That's the problem. Just the 21.5 a footy is not enough when you've got key forwards that are capable of marking the ball. So the key challenge for the Cats in the second half is to get more early use of the ball in the middle of the ground and drive the ball forward, put that back six of Hawthorn's under pressure before they can get support numbers back.
Brilliant to have Chris Judd with us. Chief Jason Dunstall at halftime, 6-6-42. Hawthorn lead the Cats by 7 points, 5-5-35. Over to you, True Man, with the Herald Sun Supercoach player points update.
Yeah, thanks, Das. Number one ranked player on the ground, Joel Selwood with 66, followed by Jordan Lewis at 62. Hodge with 60 and Sam Menegola with 59. And just with the halftime instant trivia for the Herald Sun, question is, inclusive of tonight's game, how many times have Geelong and Hawthorn met in the finals over the past 10 years? Answer correctly at Twitter. Triple M Footy could be in the running for 2 tickets to this year's grand final. We'll give you the answer straight after the break. For McDonald's, it's halftime. Triple M rocks footy.
Massive qualifying final at the MCG at halftime. If you've just joined us, it's the Cats 5-5-35, trailing the Hawks by 7 points. Hawthorn 6-6-42. Been a very interesting arm wrestle in the first half here at the MCG. Ash, we've got a question to be answered here.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. The halftime instant trivia for the Herald Sun was, inclusive of tonight's game, how many times have Geelong and Hawthorn met in the finals over the past 10 years? And the answer was 5 times. So, well done to our winner, which we will nail in a couple of moments.
You haven't even got a winner, Ash.
We haven't. This is the first time this year we haven't been able to nail a winner,
on,
but
Ash.
we're looking at it as we speak.
I think you're better than that, sure. Before we get to that, I will send this. I will tell you about this. Mitch Hallahan, of course, former Hawk, now playing for the Gold Coast Suns. Miss being in Melbourne for finals footy. Next best thing, streaming the Triple M Footy boys on my flight to Norway.
Wow.
So it's obviously mid-air.
Yeah, that's not a normal destination for players, is it?
No.
Fantastic, though.
Yeah,
That's
so
exciting.
he's listening to hashtag AFL Cats Hawks on a flight to Norway, which is nuts. So good boy, Mitchie. Always good to hear from you. Now, did we get a winner, Ash?
Yeah, Big Tanker is the
Big
winner.
Tanker.
Big Tanker.
Yeah, he goes in the running for 2 tickets to this year's grand final. So well done to him, JB.
Very, very nice. We got... what do we think, Ash? You're good with crowds. Is there 80 here? 75?
Yeah, I reckon there's pushing close to 80,000 JB. They've usually averaged about late 70s from their past 3 finals between these two sides.
Very nice. Just looking out the front here, I can see my reptile second eldest son with a couple of his equally reptilian mates. I'm not seeing any pots getting piled into them, Chief, so they might be keeping themselves tidy for later on.
That'll be a first.
I know. There'd be only one reason for that.
Too early to get into it, Jim. The youngsters go out later.
They
these days, don't
They do go out later, but my feeling is that they're broke.
Well, what about you chip in and spot the boy
I'm
a few?
giving him nothing. I've had enough of him. In fact, I might tip him out of the house directly.
School of Hard Knocks.
Yep. I think that's what they need, these young ones, Chief. It's a sense of entitlement that I don't get. So
you don't get a sense of entitlement.
No,
Is
for
anyone
him.
feeling the irony here?
For him,
Please.
life achievements 0.
Jim,
Chief.
it's hereditary.
Chief. Yeah, Alex, I agree. Their mother's got a hell of a lot to learn. Howie, nice to see you down there.
Yes,
Early in position early.
Yes, just listening to Chief, I have to agree with him there. That was rather
give me
ironic.
a
Now,
start.
listen, the rain has stayed away, which is good news. Still pretty slippery. A couple of injury concerns for the Hawks. Ryan Burton, he struggled throughout the first half with a calf issue. Didn't play much of the second quarter at all, so keep an eye on him. And Taylor Giray, Doc tells me he's got a bit of pain relief in that hand. Where he belted the ball out, so he could be a concern. Doc, while you're beside me and we've got a moment, if that hand was to be broken, what would that mean if the Hawks had to play next week?
Yeah, it looks like it might have a little crack in what we call the metacarpal bone, one of the little bones in the middle of the hand. And look, if there is a little crack there, they'd probably consider putting a plate in, and that may mean missing a couple of weeks. But grand final still on the horizon for Duray, if that's the case.
All right, the Hawks are back out on the ground as are the Cats.
Well, thanks for that, Harry. You got Luke Darcy doing a great job here, front of the box, and Chris Judd alongside Jason Dunstall. Ash Stewart doing the stats as well. And
Jim, just go back to the doc if I can, please, down to Rowan White. With that broken hand, is that something you could play with if need be next week, wear the pain, jab it up, and then get it done at the end of the finals series, Doc?
Jace, if it's just a simple crack, that's possible. If it's what we call displaced, where, the ends of the bone are next to each other, that probably does need a plate. And what your issue is there is not the plate and the bone, but you've got to wait for the wound. The surgical wound to settle down, and that's usually 2 weeks. So if it wasn't for the skin wound and waiting for that to settle down, you could almost play immediately.
all right, thanks, Doc. Rowan White, of course, the dominant medical presence in football, as both teams out there now just going through their ball handling warming up drills to start this second term.
They wouldn't want to lose a couple of rotations, the Hawks. I think that'd hurt them, because one thing we know about the Cats, is they're going to run out the game strongly. They haven't hit their straps yet. At some stage, they're going to get a little bit of a grip on this game. They'll get momentum going their way. They'll get more ball in the forward 50. And that could wear down the Hawks if they're a couple of rotations short. So very important if they can manage both Burton and Duray through the game, playing there close to their normal minutes.
Look at those numbers for Lewis, Hodge, Mitchell, Birchall, 20, 16, 15, 15, Burgoyne 12. These are just battle-hardened finals legends, Duke. And as soon as they get into this cauldron, they just get the job done.
They have done for such a long period of time. Looking at Luke Beveridge in the crowd at the moment, Rowan Smith, 300-game star of the Bulldogs alongside him. Obviously, they play the loser of this game in what we think will be the Friday night game back here at the MCG.
Someone just cracked a joke, Duke. Either that or they're extremely happy on the Chemist Warehouse replay screen.
Might still be smiling from last night, I think, Chief. It was a massive night.
Yeah, wasn't it?
For that club, as we're about to get the second half underway. Jody, we're just talking half-time. The Cats have come after Sam Mitchell with everything. Everyone has gone past him, has got stuck into him and given him one. He absorbs that much punishment and just fronts up and gets more aggressive himself.
He does. He just doesn't get stopped, does he? He's got nuggety legs, and you look at his body and it just looks hard to hurt. He just absorbs a lot of punishment and
gives out a bit too.
And gives it out as well. So he's been a star.
I think you're right. He's worked out a new tactic. The man on the mark's fair game for him tonight.
Yeah,
he's been
just runs into him.
Just smashed into anybody in his way, Sam Mitchell. He's going to have a big part to play in this second half. And what a moment this is. 7-point lead to the Hawks. They're staring history in the face, chasing 4 premierships, and they will go down as immortals, this group of stars. Can they do it tonight? So the second half about to get underway. Here's James Brayshaw.
Matt Stevic throws the ball in the air. They contest ground level. The Danger goes and gets it, and then walks in and out of a tackle from Gunston. Got a really nice handball to Selwood. Joel Selwood inside 50. Pack fly at the footy. No one able to take it. Guthrie went and got it. Got around Cyril Rioli, and then just off a step dumps a real high one. Standing under it, Bartel. Frawley with a little fist. Guthrie went to ground. McAvoy, I thought, might have been taken high. Soccer out of there to Hawkins. Hawkins left foot ball's good to the Danger, who's 48 from home directly in front.
Come out with a bit of purpose. Paddy Dangerfield won the first contestant and handballed the ball straight to Joel Selwood. See that very often this season.
You wouldn't think the distance is going to trouble Paddy Dangerfield. A kick from just outside the 50-metre arc. I reckon he'll make it comfortably. He's got a nice long run up, gets good momentum. It's just a matter of accuracy. So a perfect start for the Cats.
He'll run, you'd imagine, a little arc and get some nice purchase. From 55, he dropped it horribly and kicked a helicopter left of the target.
Tell you what, it went a long way for a helicopter, Jim.
It did. 5-6 to 6-6. Hawks by 1 straight goal. As we start this third term, Triple M Beaumont tile scoreboard.
His only weakness, Chief. Set shot goal kicking for Danger. It's been the only thing he probably hasn't been able to perfect.
Yeah, thus far. He'll keep working on it, I'm sure.
Now in the hands of Birchall. 30 out from his own goal, looking for a target upfield, and he spears it to Liam Shields. 60 out from his own goal. Hodge runs into a bit of a gap. McCarthy was good enough to get in front and effected a spoil and a boundary thrown close to centre wing member's side. Margin is 6 points. Hawthorn with the lead early stages of the second half. Just having a look down there, Howie and Doc, it's Ryan Burton emerging from the change rooms. What's the update on him?
Yeah, he's just come up. He's got that calf heavily strapped now on the right side, as Doc told us, so he will have done a fitness test in the room. Let's see if he can get out there.
Trying to force his way through. Mitch Duncan, Danger. Got back on the non-preferred, popped it to centre forward. Third man up, effectively was Stratton. Landed in the lap of Gibson. Bartel had a strong tackle on him immediately. Now Duncan, underground Halball, wanted to find McCarthy. Isaac Smith in the way will get a free kick for high contact.
Yes, and the customary barracking from the neighbouring boxes as Isaac Smith able to just go long.
Strange long option. Puopolo against Zach Smith.
Yep. Zach just got rid of Little Pooh and then took a simple chest mark on the wing.
And that's where you rely on the player with the ball to make a better decision.
And Zach Smith goes with a low ball. Gets over the head of Lewis, who goes back and finds the footy and then gets it to Duray on the left. Goes back to a similar one-on-one. This time Schoenmaker's a bigger player. Able to impact. Enright came in, took the footy out. It'll be thrown in right in front of the interchange gate. 42-36, Hawks by 6 points.
Boundary throw in.
Hold the meter.
Right where the interchange race is here on the members wing in the MCG. Played 3 1/4 minutes in the third quarter, Howie.
Yeah, Reece Stanley's getting a lot of work done on the groin. Burton's still doing those fitness tests. Doesn't look good. Looks really proppy on the line.
Howie for Bob Jane team arts all over it with Dr. Rowan White down there. Hurried kick from Hodge. Gained about 30 metres to about 70 out from the punt road end where the Hawks are attacking, and that's where we'll have another boundary throwing.
Just looking at Hodgie with the strapping wrapped around his bonce. You wonder how many games this unbelievable player has played. 284 of them total, where he's ended up with bandaging on his head. Have to be in the 50s. Little massaging, beautiful round the corner ball from the man I'm talking about to Geordie Lewis, who got around Duncan and then just sat it up, but it was a 2-on-1, and Cyril was never favoured by the kick.
Did the hard work, Lewis, and then messed it up with the kick.
Now they've got an outnumber out of side, the Cats. Lonergan able to just dump a long one down the line. It carried Motlop, who's been pretty quiet. Stratton took it over. Motlop's numbers, Ash?
He's only had 6 possessions and the 1 major hard yakka.
I'm going to get more out of Stevie Motlop, Chris Scott, as he ponders the magnets in front of him and what he might be able to do. 6-point margin in favour of Hawthorn. Great southern stand wing boundary throwing. Zach Smith, Shields flash through the screen, didn't quite get the footy. Hodge, important touches again, back to Mitchell on the left. Rioli! What about that? Sat on Enright's head, then goes short to Gunston. Just set the MCG alight, the champ. They've seen a replay of it and they love it. As much as they did the first time. How good was that?
Off a couple of steps, he didn't have a long run up. Just shot straight up. What a mark.
They're all chest marks when he takes it. He's got such a good leap. He gets up there and then just marks it on his chest.
And lands on his feet, too. Ready to play on.
And he's passed this one off to Jack Gunston, who missed one earlier. This one well within range. 45-degree angle, maybe a bit tighter than that. He steers it back through. First goal of the second half, Hawthorn. Margin 12 points. 7-6-48. Cats 5-6-36. And that is all on the Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
I think it's a really important goal for Jack Gunston. He had a pretty good first half being creative further up the ground, but he needs to have that scoreboard impact if the Hawks are going to win the game, and he probably needs to kick his 2 or 3 along with a few of the others up there. So good for him to hit the scoreboard. Good signs for the Hawks.
See, that's a massive grab in the final. He has just been such an extraordinary player, Cyril Rioli. And the first goal of this term goes to the Hawks, who now lead by 12 points. That might be game high for them, is it, Dash?
Spot on, JB.
Back in the middle, Fitzpatrick, Dangerfield, Selwood. High inside 50. Hawkins gets rid of his direct opponent. Ball on the ground. Cowan goes and gets it. No, it's Menzel. But then he falls over.
Oh, he had a player on in the square too.
He just couldn't get his footing in that longer strip of grass.
Might have been Caddy waiting for the ball.
So out it goes. It'll be thrown in City End. Geelong suddenly need a goal. Blitzarves gets his way to the front, slaps it to the back. Hill trapped the footy. Giray went without. Scramble of players. Giray to Guthrie. Guthrie forward now. McCarthy will kick a goal. Good result, Cats. They actually worked it really well. 6-6-42, 7-6-48. The Hawks. Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
They did. Just a bit of a messy build-up there, but Zach Smith eventually found the ball in his hands and really nice handball off to McCarthy. They needed that one, the Cats. Zach Smith's probably a player at a bit of a quiet first half, but looks like he's really come out and lifted. Just needs a few of the other Cats who were a bit quiet in that first half to follow suit. Really looking for Motlop, Cowan, Ruggles. Really need the ball in their hands a bit more often this half.
So the Cats hit back with their first goal of the second half. Lincoln McCarthy, the man to deliver it. And this enormous crowd on the edge of their seats. Feel like we've got something special unfolding before our eyes here. Fitzpatrick did well, got it to Mitchell. Not his best purchase on the kick. Off the side of the boot. Out towards the wing. Southern stand side. Duncan. Oh, he got judo wrestled to the ground. Isaac Smith got him to ground and the footy spilled out. Joel Selwood picked it up. They've lifted their rating. Selwood and Dangerfield to start the second half. Stratton, third man in, got it out of bounds for a boundary throw and 70 around from the Cats' goal.
How good is Paddy Dangerfield at breaking tackles? He's just too strong. Pushes them off, keeps the ball alive.
Throw in, Great Southern Stand side of the ground, edging towards the city end. Cats head in that direction. Smith down. Blitzarves broke a couple of tackles and then got it to Smith, who handballed it straight to Gunston. He couldn't believe he could do that. He gave it back to Geordie Lewis. Kick to a 1-on-2 and the fist goes out. Big Zach. Just didn't see a bloke wearing the opposition jumper. Yes, Ash?
Yeah, JB, just Dangerfield and Selwood, they only had 8 touches combined in that second quarter. They've already racked up 8 already, and we're only 8 minutes in.
6-point lead, Hawthorn.
Oh, they're good signs for the Cats then, with Danger and Selwood are back in it.
Fitzpatrick goes and gets his own nurry, and then just end on ends it forward. Enright. Well done, Bruce, to break the ball up in the air. Mackie took it out, and it's going to be thrown in.
An effort there from Luke Bruce to bring that one to ground, Chief, without giving away a free kick.
Yeah, arguable whether he had a hold of Enright. Got away with it.
So they get an opportunity again here, the Hawks. They're side forward 50, thrown in ball. Hill tried to force his way through. Mackie just wanted it out of there. Howe and Caddy did really well, too strong. Took a good mark. What's his night been like, Jimmy? Josh Caddy?
He's only had the 5 possessions, 1 major.
Need more out of him.
So for all he's up on the mark, that leaves Hawkins deep down the line if they want to go long. He doesn't have an opponent at the moment.
Danger went short to Corey Enright. Still at half back, the Cats.
He's calling for it, Hawkins, too. Now they've seen him.
Takes on the man on the mark, Enright, and shapes the handball, releases Mackie, runs into a bit of trouble, and now Caddy's going to get free and launch one inside 50.
Cowan goes long, Menzel caught at the back, fist away from Stratton. Hawkins a little touch. Big Zach Smith goes and gets it. He slapped it wide to Menzel. Walked through traffic and then coughed it up to Duray. Now Stratton, good ball. Found Whitecross. Necessary that small kick found a player wearing a Hawthorn jumper, and it did. Little one to Birchall. Just
that
inside
might have been over the line.
So Grant Birchall looking to switch. He does. Goes back to Stratton, back in the side. Stratton, horrible kick, but it works to Puopolo.
How did that hit the target?
Bit of luck there for the Hawks coming out of defence. Frawley's got a man out. He's going to take the time and take the space, and it's Howe. He comes back inboard, and there is Luke Bruce. So the precision kicking really served them well. In the second quarter, that one to Whitecross set him a task. He was up to it. Zach Smith had a look at it. Gibson a real up and under job. Lewis from the side. Hodge had a good play on the footy. Hodge couldn't quite bring down the mark. Got in on hands and knees. Tried to toe poke it. Harry Taylor's been pretty quiet back there. Bradley Hill farms a handball forward. Bruce picked it up and runs into the goal. Gives it over to Gunston. And the easiest goal of the night to Hawthorn. And they get the quick reply. Margin back out to 12 points. 8-6-54 Hawthorn. 6-6-42 Geelong on the Triple M Beaumont tile scoreboard.
Thought Whitecross was really important in the middle of the ground there. It was an ordinary square up from Bruce, and it looked like Zach Smith was going to intercept Mark. Whitecross was able to spoil the ball and then grab the crumb as well before feeding out the hand pass. That enabled them to kick the ball forward. It wasn't a great kick going forward. It was Gibson having to kick it on the right boot, but they had numbers that were able to force the ball, keep it going towards goal.
Menegola hobbling off too. Doc and Howie down there. What are you seeing?
Yeah, looks like a right ankle. Look, the good news is as he was running off, he seemed to be a bit freer, so hopefully he'll be okay. Doc looking at him now.
Back in the middle. 2 goal spread here to the Hawks. Reece Stanley went and got it to Selwood by hand. And now Lonigan off the back of the square. Into the guts of Caddy. Missed him. Blitzars went and got it. And then he got upended. Hawthorn defenders go to work. Gibson was good. But handball straight into the path of Duncan. Now Guthrie. Caddy. Forward to Scott Selwood. Inside 50 he goes. Motlop's got out the back. Couldn't get to it. Hawkins does. Handball to Bartel. Picks it up in the pocket. Bouncing ball, Bartel. Cowan. Motlop. Goal. Cats. No, they're going to have a review, I reckon.
I'm not sure he got a boot
No,
on.
I don't reckon he did either. They're doing no celebrating, Chief. So
I believe it's a touch behind. Can we please check that the attacker didn't get his boot to it? Score review. Umpire.
yeah, he missed the footy.
He's had an airy.
He completely missed the ball. Stevie Motlop, how do you do that?
A big airy.
That's amazing.
Done a Fitzy.
He has done a Fitzy.
Oh, no.
That's extraordinary. How do you miss the ball?
Confirmed behind. So there it is. a metre out. The fresh air swing from Stevie Motlock. Maybe slightly off balance. Mitchell took the fullback kick in. Not surprisingly gave it to himself. And then went short to Lewis. Now this is Liam Shields still at half-back. Margin 11 points.
Got McAvoy long down the line on Enright.
And that's where he's going to head, Chief. Stanley gets back and did well, Reece Stanley. Hacked out of mid-air by Corey Enright. Got it to half-forward. Whitecross has been important tonight. Fisted it forward. Free kick, I think. Guthrie's way. Nothing doing.
Oh.
Bicep play on. Rioli came off the interchange. Little slick handball was brilliant to Shields. Piopolo wants it. The runner is Hill. He'll get through to half-forward. Kick not great. In fact, it was really ordinary.
Hodge not happy either.
Straight into the arms of Colin Jasny.
And he goes backwards to Mackie. 43-54. Hawthorn by 11 points. Guthrie to try and climb for the ball. Couldn't get anywhere near it. Whitecross took a good mark. And then he went to Big Jack.
Oh, no.
Fitzy.
Big Fitzy. Famously on this ground, set shot for Melbourne, missed the ball. Has got the opportunity to stretch it right out.
55 out, well within his range. Anything from within 70, I tell him to go back and have a shot.
Just queuing up for the hand pass, Isaac Smith lurking.
He's got the poor man's Wayne Carey body, hasn't he? The great big long trunk and tiny little legs. Big Fitzy. He'll kick from outside 50. Then you wouldn't put it past him. On the way. Oh, he's hung it out right. In fact, hasn't got the trip and gets punched through. So massive build-up and then really bugger all. 6-7-43 Geelong. 8-7-55. Hawthorn 12 points. Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
Right on the halfway mark of the third term. And it is that 12-point margin. So taking some time to get the footy back. Cats eventually comes into Guthrie. He comes out the members' wing side. Lonergan in the best position. Well done, Gibson. What a great knack he has had of just getting the timely fist in, Chief, and he did it again.
That's the word, Duke. His timing is what makes him such a supreme defender.
So now boundary throw in, slightly attacking half of the wing for the Hawks. Blitz arse to Dangerfield. Until he's really set himself to lift in this quarter. Got it to Selwood. Now Bartel sweeps a handball out. Hodge tracking the footy. Scott Selwood tracking him. Did well to dispossess him.
Contact below the knees.
And that's going to go Geelong's way. You heard that free kick. Reece Stanley emerges with the ball.
Nice kick too. Hits Bartel. Outside 50. Bartel off a step. Goes for the big hawk. Gets a hand in there. Can't take it. McCarthy went and found it. Did he get boot to ball? No. It was a punch along the ground that goes through for a behind. So the Cats 6-8-44. Hawthorn 8-7-55. Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
Mitchell. Footy from the fullback kick in. And
Gee, that's a good kick, mate.
Unbelievable kick, Chief. 60-metre left footer, right onto the lap of Shields. He runs through the wing. Members side, cuts back in the corridor. Hodge, McAvoy with the ball. He's got some runners. Gibson, Isaac Smith says, you go alone. And he goes back now to Mitchell. Short to Birchall. They've got numbers out everywhere here. Across the wing, Birchall's kick just a little too heavy for Whitecross. He leaves it for Hill on 50. Under not a lot of pressure through the hands of Rioli out the back. Picked up by Schoenmakers. Got put the ball. And kicked a big goal, Schoenmakers. And that felt a little too easy, that build-up. Hawks get two in a row. Margin out to, I think, a game high of 18. 2 goals to Schoenmakers. 9-7-61 to 6-8-44. 17-point lead, in fact. And that's a Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
The ball came in from Hill there and just went over the top, and Schoenmakers was hovering and ready to swoop. And it just feels like Hawthorn are just getting the run of the ball at the minute. They're just getting a couple of things go their way, and Schoenmakers good enough to capitalise on that occasion.
Juddy, is that a worry, just the ease of kick without pressure and free targets down the ground there? The Cats just didn't seem to defend anywhere well enough.
There's those uncontested marks and uncontested possessions. Hawthorn are at 174 to Geelong 114, and Geelong just need to find a way to get some pressure on that Hawthorn ball.
Restart. Dangerfield taken in the Burgoyne tackle, holding the ball.
He's the first one that's been able to tackle him effectively, Shawnee Burgoyne.
So Hawthorn will have it out of the centre. And he just sits a high one. Inside forward 50. Oh, Schoenmakers hands to it, couldn't take it. Guthrie has the footy held in. And the umpire's going to throw it up. Don't care what happens home and away, Chiefs. Someone had to beat Hawthorn at the G in a final, and that is enormously hard to do. They're 18 points up in this game of footy. It's inside forward 50. Gunston got it. Burgoyne then went and got it, gave it to Hodge, and he misses.
Oh, they wouldn't want to waste too many opportunities. That's on his natural foot. That's a poor effort to miss everything.
So
they've got the run at the moment, the Hawks. The key is to capitalise on that on the scoreboard.
it's 6-8-44 to 9-7-61, so 17 points. I think I might have just said 18 for the Hawks.
And 8 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Just look at the way the ball's coming out of the Geelong back line compared to the Hawks back line, where they're changing angles, they're getting uncontested marks. Geelong getting none of that flow in their game.
Burgoyne putting some real work into Dangerfield here at the stoppage. Isaac Smith came crashing through and right the other way. Danger slid in, emerged with a footy. Brilliant play. Got it to Scott Selwood. Who's that down?
Isaac Smith.
Isaac Smith. Yeah, we'll find out from Harry in the dock. Showmakers had a big couple of minutes. Squeezed the handball to Frawley. And now Howe, Showmakers under pressure and then hacked it off the ground. Half forward, Gunston couldn't pick it up. Bradley Hill toe pokes it forward. Numbers with the Cats. It's an half back. And Lincoln McCarthy picked it up and got it out to blitz halves.
Back to Guthrie, but not much to go forward to. Caddy's done some spreading. He's getting closed down though by Whitecross. Caddy just had to inch it forward, and that'll be deliberate, I reckon. Yep, that's deliberate. Whitecross has been important. That's not a great ball. Geordie Lewis made it work. And he's got it at half back.
They'll set up for the switch.
So Jordan Lewis has had a lot of the ball, Ash.
27 touches, leading ball winner on the ground.
And he wants to find some target sideways. There isn't one there, so he's just got to massage a beautiful ball to Jack Gunston. Sat it out into the space for Gunston to run onto when there really wasn't much on offer.
Two talls up the line. Probably no other option.
So Gunston into the man on the mark, Lonergan, and it'll be thrown in out of side.
It's a good win for the Cats. Good smother from Tom Lonergan. It's one of the few times they've able to mop up all the options and just take away the change of direction from the Hawks. They need to do that more often, the Cats.
Next goal feels massive in this game. 6.5 remaining in the third term. 17-point lead. Fisted forward by the Hawks. Mackie back there on the wing. Southern stand wing side. He bends one round the body. Bartell's been quiet. McAvoy was courageous. Didn't complete the mark. Gibson shrugged the tackle. Birchall now at half back. Goes back and McCarthy put him under pressure. Squeezing kick. A little nervous moment here for the Hawks. Duray, we think, playing with a broken hand. Got back to Stratton, who just pauses for a moment. Now to Frawley. Oh, he took on the tackle. The chip. He had no right to do it and got smashed by Hawkins. Big play, the Cats.
Oh, they've got numbers everywhere up forward.
Hawk just pumps a long ball in. Marking player needed, and there it is. Menzel has been unsighted. Oh, Chip Frawley.
He has very little peripheral vision, Jim.
Oh, no, virtually non-existent. And he was mown down by the 100 kilos of Tommy Hawkins. And so Menzel now can kick a much-needed goal for the Cats, who were really starting to stagger in this third term.
Couldn't have come at a better time, this.
Drag them back to 11 points. Been quiet, Menzel, Lash.
Yeah, 7 possessions and scoreless for Hard Yakka.
He has kicked a goal now. 7-8-50. 9-7-61. 11-point lead, Hawthorn. We've got 5 minutes left in this third term.
Against the flow of the game, very courageous mark by Menzel. Didn't know it was coming. Eyes on the ball, went back with the flight. And really important game for the Cats.
He'd be getting some love from his uncle, Chip Frawley, wouldn't he?
We get some direct feedback, I would have thought, from the great Spud Farmer. It was a big moment, that. And Chip Frawley just didn't see the oncoming traffic. Big turnover, big goal. And now the margin back to 11 points. 5 minutes remaining in the third term. And back into the centre. It'll be McAvoy. Zach Smith. Give that one to Smith. Guthrie, a little bit too much leg speed in front of Mitchell, and then slapped the one hand at it. Selwood cleaned it up and then squeezed it back over his head to Smith. Pioplo applies some pressure. Dangerfield launches a long bomb. 40 metres out. Big fist. That was Frawley. A double-hander picked up by Hawkins. Blitz halves. Slapped forward by Stanley to McCarthy. Left foot step into the body. I think it's a goal. 2 quick goals in a row to the Cats. McCarthy kicks his second of the night. And we're back to within 5 points, 61 to 56. Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
He's a clever player, Lincoln McCarthy. And we've seen him start to get a little bit more continuity in his football this year. He's got speed and he's got some good skills. Plays that mid-sized forward role. 2 very important goals in the third term. Just when it looked like the Hawks were opening up some breathing space, they tighten it right back up.
Just with Dangerfield, number 1 ranked player this quarter. He's racked up 9 possessions, 3 clearances, hard yakka.
8-8, 56, 9-7, 61, 5-point lead to the Hawks, who at one stage had a 17-point lead.
She's animated Chris Scott in the Chemist Warehouse replay screen in the Geelong box. He knows how important those goals are. He was thumping the desk.
Joel Selwood wrapped up. Restart. Blitzarve slapped it wide. Joel Selwood went and got Mitchell too high. Mitchell, centre of the ground, free kick. Handball to Hodge, it gets through his hands. Menegola went and got it, and then he got laid on by Hodge. And it's going to be a ball up. 4 minutes, 17 seconds left, third term. Another classic brewing between these two clubs.
They've got a loose sitting forward here, the Cats.
Guthrie got it to Smith. High forward. Fished from the Hawthorn defence. Hodge went and got it. Nice clean hand, Smith. Able to get a handball off to Hill. It's a wrestle, centre of the ground, dangerous. Small players here for Hawthorn, but the defence for Geelong was good.
No surprise, Corey Enright emerged with a footy. Brilliant hands. Menegola took a good contested mark in front of Duray. Big tall midfielder is. Danger wanted the handball, decided to go it alone and went long. Down there, Stanley had a good look at it. Hodges had big moments in this game. Stratton under pressure, just shinned it forward. Burgoyne, Danger got hold of him. Cats really lifting their rating at the moment. Isaac Smith, Burgoyne back in there. And a ball up, Cats. Last
surging.
2 goals and
They're
they
surging.
are right in this.
It's been a great lift by the Cats, and they're doing it physically around the ball, really putting pressure on the Hawks, taking away their time to hit targets and relieve the pressure.
3:29 remaining in the third term. Back to 5 points the margin. Now Cowan picked it up. Boot was smothered off the ball. Chief might have been a free kick there. Sliding through Isaac Smith. An opportunity again for the Cats. Cowan couldn't quite get through the pressure. And again, we'll have this one balled out 20 metres out. City and the Cats in attack, and they have got all the momentum at the moment.
3 minutes left. Third term. Blitzarve's back. Motlop had a little look, so did Menegola. Here's Corey Enright, left foot ball, doesn't hit it well at all and misses. So it's 8-9, 57 Geelong, 9-7, 61 Hawthorn. Just 4 points separate these two. 3 minutes to go.
A big lift in the forward 50 pressure there for the Cats there. That's what they didn't do for a quarter and a half.
Chris Sharp with the Shell V-Power special comments. The Chief Jason Dunstall. Epic game unfolding before our eyes here. Qualifying final. The prize is a berth in the prelim final. The loser to play the Western Bulldogs. It's Lewis with the footy for Hawthorn. Long one down the line. Fitzpatrick for Hawthorn. Guthrie picked it up. Got it to Dangerfield. He's had a big term. Long ball to the goal square. Hodge down there. Blitzarves. Chance for the Cats. Picked up by Blitzarves. They get 3 in a row. And they're in front, the Cats. A moment ago, it was a 17-point lead to the Hawks. 3 quick ones to Geelong, and they lead at 9-9-63. Hawthorn 9-7-61. Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
Momentum swings in this game have been enormous, and we saw that goal from Blitzarves, but it was the end of a pretty dominant period for the Cats. And for the last 5 minutes, you can't see how the Hawks are going to score.
No.
But for the previous 15 minutes before that, you couldn't see how the Cats were going to score. So the arm wrestle's well and truly on, and I can't see either team lying down.
Geez, Menzel's been important the last couple of minutes, Chief.
He's been very, very good. They're getting a lift out of a number of their players.
See Chris Scott in the box there. He celebrated that as hard as I've ever seen a coach celebrate anything. He got out of the chair, he had a fist pump. Some emotion in this one.
Fitzpatrick gets it to half forward. It goes through about 4 sets of legs. Domsey Lonergan went and found it. Just kicked it up in the air. Lewis stands under it with great courage. It's broken up though. So's the handball. Back comes Kolajasny, and he had his legs taken.
Geelong.
Kolajasny will end up with a free. It's not a a rule I'm ever been a fan of, that one. I'm not sure what
I'm with
option.
you, Jim. I think that rule came in for one incident.
For the sliding in.
And we rarely have seen it again. And
Well, what is the player meant to do in that instance? Turnover ball. I'm talking about the Hawthorn player. He's trying to win the footy. You're allowed to do that last time I checked. Burgoyne on the wing. Has to hold and stop.
He's got to start behind the mark, Brendan Whitecross. You can't start level with the bloke right next to him.
So now a power of numbers ahead of all players. Duray gets the short one from Birchall. We've got 1:32 left.
yeah, Luke Hodge is standing in the middle of the ground. He's demanding they change direction, come out the other side. They decide to go down the narrow side of the ground, and a big pack there, and it's taken out of bounds. So the Hawks in attack, 30 metres out, boundary throwing.
Great pressure from Cyril Rioli on the Chemist Warehouse replay. You almost need a hot call and then a different call when it's Cyril chasing somebody, because you've got to get rid of the ball quick.
Chris Judd, the Shell V-Power special comment. Shell V-Power designed to improve performance. The Chief Jason Dunstall, 1:18 remaining in the third term. Cats by 2 points. Look at Mitchell go in after the footy. Slid in, no free kick either way. Good decision for the umpire. A lot of bodies crash in. And a ball up again, inside forward 50, punt road end. Hawks in attack, and there's a bit going on here.
Puopolo's shaking a few up.
Scotty Selwood, Joel Selwood, Rioli.
And the umpire throws it in the air, which is wise. It comes into the path of Ruggles. Got to be clean. Lonergan wants the boundary. Hawks want deliberate, and they're going to get it. So Luke Bruce will bring the footy back in. Was it there, boys?
Touch and go. I think it's what the player wanted, but you'd like to think he doesn't have any other options, does he? Long way out to go around the corner. Probably needs to kick a drop punt from there, Luke Bruce.
And Luke Bruce is arguing that he wants a bigger runner.
You can't make him kick off 2 steps.
No, exactly.
That's incorrect. He's got to be able to follow the fence around.
Rioli's gone down with a little jumper punch from Ruggles.
You cannot make a bloke kick off 2 steps.
I agree, Chief. So Luke Bruce to give the Hawks back the lead if he can kick truly. On its way, he likes it. He loves it.
Wow.
That is a freakish
What a
kick.
goal.
What a wonderful set shot exponent he is, Luke Bruce. 10-7, 67, 9-9, 63. The Hawks are out to a 3-point lead.
Well, not only was he from the boundary, the umpire forced him to kick off 3 or 4 steps, and from 45 metres out, just slotted it straight through. And when you're a coach, they're the sort of goals that really get under your skin with 50 seconds left on the clock. Chris got to be really disappointed in that one.
Got 3, Luke Bruce.
4-point lead to the Hawks now. Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard. Tradies for a week's worth of T-shirts free. Buy 10 bags of CTA adhesive this week and they're yours. That's big. And so is this game. 51 seconds remaining. Another lead change. It's the Hawks by 4 points. Fitzpatrick got the footy only as far though as the Cats defence, and it was Duncan who got it forward. Now the mark's been taken down there in front of Duray, and Motlop, who's been really quiet, stood tall. Clarko can't believe it, and the Cats can hit back immediately.
Well, that hurts. A good contested mark from Motlop. Jack Fitzpatrick did everything right in the ruck. He got the ball, but when he went to sink the slipper in it, he kicked it about 3 metres along the ground, straight to the sweeping Geelong player. And then Mitch Duncan able to find a one-on-one. That's a really good mark from Motlop. Kicked the first goal of the game. Needs to kick this.
Clock hasn't stopped at all, so it tracks down to 13 seconds, 12 seconds. Motlop 25. They get 30 metres out. No mistake. Now the Cats get the lead back immediately. Plenty of verbal going on out there at the moment. 2-point lead to Geelong, 69-67. Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
He's had a pretty quiet game, Motlop, but he's just kicked his second. He was about an inch away from kicking a third, and he often judge players not really on how they play in their best games, but how they play in their worst. And for him to kick 2 already, if he can milk out another 1 or 2 goals, he'll be a very valuable contributor for Geelong.
McDonald's play the Monopoly game at Macca's. 1 in 5 chance to win great prizes, including tickets to the grand final. 2-point lead, Cats.
You know, the ominous sign for Geelong fans, they'll love this. The Cats have won 19 out of 22 fourth quarters this season, Jim.
That's going to go to the wire. It just has that feeling. It has for most of the day. Selwood straight up in the air. Siren's going to sound. Oh, it's a big game of footy, this. And again, there's some punching going on. And the big blitz wanders in and just latches onto Hodgie. Leave my man alone. 10-9-69 Cats. 10-7-67 Hawks. Chris Judd and Jason Dunstall after we come back. Also, you'll hear from Luke Darcy, Ash Chua, Howie and the Doc down on the boundary. Just a 2-point spread at three-quarter time in favour of the Cats. For McDonald's Triple M Rocks Finals footy.
What about this? 10-9-69 Geelong, 10-7-67 Hawthorn, 2-point lead, three-quarter time. Qualifying final here at the MCG. Chris Judd and the Chief Jason Dunstall.
Well, we were just having a chat off air. I know it seems very easy to say it, but when Dangerfield and Joel Selwood fire for the Cats, they fire and they start to win the game. They got back in control of that quarter. They started to win a lot of possessions, a lot of clearances, and that meant a lot of pressure for the Hawthorn defence, which found them wanting. Now, a lot's going to depend on whether they can repeat that again in the fourth term, Juddy.
Absolutely. It feels like Geelong's score sources are often coming from the stoppage, and Hawthorn's are often coming from being able to change angles and win uncontested possession off their half-back line. So it's really going to be a key to who wins tonight.
So the Cats have won 19 of 22 fourth quarters. Hawthorn have won 15.
And it's got themselves out of some jams too, Chief. 6 games, is it, by less than a kick?
Yeah, by less than 10 points.
Yep. So that's how good they are at winning tight ones. Down to Howie and the Doc.
Yeah, Ryan Burton, he won't take any further part. Hasn't came on since halfway through the second quarter with that calf issue, so he'll be in doubt next week. Apart from that, clean bill of health.
Bob Jane T-Mart's there. Ash?
Yeah, Dangerfield was the number 1 ranked player in that quarter. 10 disposals, has 25 for the game.
Okay, we're ready to restart. What a massive 30 minutes this is.
No surprise to see Shawnee Burgoyne in the middle of the ground.
The winner gets the week off and hosts a prelim here at the G. The loser takes on the Dogs here next Friday night. Thanks to McDonald's, Triple M rocks the finals as we're back in the middle to start the final term. Dangerfield to Selwood. Outside of the boot, Selwood inside 50. Motlop down to Bartell. Little underground handball to Caddy. Stripped of the footy. Motlop wrapped up in a Howe tackle.
How good are Dangerfield and Selwood in the middle of the ground? It's a joke how they do it as a pair.
And they don't just win the clearance, they're really damaging clearances. They're out the front door.
Burgoyne in close attention with Dangerfield, and he smothered the ball 40 metres out. Cats in attack. McCarthy fell over for Geelong.
Lying on his
and
back.
Then he had the footy underneath him for a long time. Quite let it go. Whitecross leads in the race. Enright comes and approaches him. Centre wing on the southern stand wing side. And off the hands of Lonergan and over for a boundary throw-in.
Barely lost a one-on-one all night, Whitecross. He's really stood up time and time again.
He's had a big night, Brendan Whitecross. He's suffered multiple ACL reconstructions, and really important night for that man. He stood up big time.
Yep, which is rare for a Queensland Bogan Nipsey.
Easy, Jim.
Picked up by Lewis. Around the body he goes. Zilmere or somewhere, isn't he, Chief? To the back. Isaac Smith with a run at the footy. Going to ground there was Duncan when he didn't have to. Puopolo I thought might have been held, no free. Kolajasny over the top to Guthrie. Relief here for the Cats. Long ball in the Duncan direction. McAvoy there as well. Bartell got it to Dangerfield to Selwood. Selwood then to Reece Stanley. High ball forward. McCarthy's got out the back, but the kick's wide.
It's amazing. Every time either Selwood or Dangerfield gets it, the ball normally goes to the other one of the two.
2-point lead to the Cats. Minute and a half gone, final term. Massive crowd. In the end, a really nice night here in Melbourne. A lot of rain during the day, but not a factor in the game. McAvoy. Stanley doing the roving. Shields came in, committed his body. Picked up by Scott Selwood. Real up and under job. Bartell, look at the courage back there from Lewis. They're back with the flight. Brilliant mark. And now Frawley. A couple of nervous moments. Chip with ball in hand. Goes long down the line. Harry Taylor. Showmakers did really well.
Brilliant.
Taylor fell over. Showmaker stood up. Got it back to Isaac Smith. Comes back through the middle of the ground. What a great kick from Smith. And Bruce couldn't keep it in, boundary throwing. Deep inside forward 50 for the Hawks.
Yeah, Das, just the time in front stat. It's currently dead even. Both teams have led for 43 minutes each for Hardyaker.
It's one of those nuts games of footy between these two amazing teams. 3 premierships Geelong, 4 Hawthorn in this incredible era. Guthrie walked out of a tackle, went with the outside of the boot, and it works. Lands in the arms of Caddy. Caddy wants to give it to the Danger. Danger wants to take Howe on. Succeeded in doing so and then stood up and just pumped it long down the line. Hodge just too good for Motlop.
Goes short, Hodge, Mitchell under real pressure from Caddy. And took a good mark. Now he gets it moving quick. That's a good kick to McAvoy. Through in the middle of the ground. Whitecross was cutting across the field. Now he hands it back to Mitchell with the left foot into attack. Trying to turn around and get a play on the ball was Bruce. Catch defence. Arrive en masse, but Gunston kept his feet. Back to Showmakers. Right foot ball to Rioli's good. And within range, Cyril, 40 metres out. No angle to worry about. Gets a chance to put the Hawks back in front.
Made a good contribution from not a heap of possessions, Ryan Schoenmakers. He's kicked a couple of goals, he's created, he's competed. He's certainly done what he needed to do coming into this team and playing a forward role.
Kicked the goal, Sirioli, at the 4-minute mark of the second term. And now he gets a chance. Well within range. What a year he's had. All-Australian again. Big moment for Rioli. He normally just gets the job done in the big moments, and he does it again. The Hawks are back in front. They kicked the first goal of the last quarter, and they lead it by 4 points, 11-7-73. Geelong 10-9-69 on the Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard.
He's always seemed like he's been a pretty good set shot for goal, but this year Rioli's really taken it to a whole new level, and you can really tell when you're watching a player lining up for goal when they do have complete confidence in their routine and their style, and that never looked like missing.
And Ash has just followed up on Schoenmaker's numbers. He's also had 7 score involvements, which is the most of any Hawthorn player tonight.
So it's back the Hawks' way by 4 points. 11-7-73, Geelong 10-9-69 from the restart. Guthrie has it held in, and that's holding the ball, I reckon.
Did he have any chance? It looked like he was making an attempt.
What more are you meant to do with an arm pinned? Burgoyne to half forward. Whitecross, read better by Enright, but then he just double fisted it. Rare fumble from Selwood. Ball to the back. Gunston to Mitchell to Fitzpatrick. Just a little massager inside 50 from Fitzy.
Oh, that was actually clever. It looked like he was just going to throw it on the boot. At the last minute he saw Bruce in space and just chipped it over.
Would have been entitled to have a shot, Chief.
Yep. It was going through his mind, Juddy, no question of that. But he's found a man who is very capable from the set shot, and this for number 4.
Still think Guthrie was unlucky in the middle of the ground.
Yeah, I don't
Chemist
understand.
Warehouse replay screen.
So Bruce to kick his 4th to the city end. He's hung it out to the right, and it ain't coming back enough for behind. 11-8-74, 10-9-69. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard.
Pretty close to the man on the mark there, Luke Bruce.
Yep.
Affected the kick, Chief, in the end. Now Enright. I think that's Duncan down there.
We've got numbers here.
And the mark taken by Lonigan, 60 metres out from his own goal. Domsey Lonigan. On the mark is Howe, called to play on Lonigan. Squeezes the kick in the men's direction. Frawley comes in late. Hawkins out the back, landed in his lap. Oh, they're out here. Cowan's got some space. Might not provide some run. Decides to go long. Stanley in best position. He should mark this one. Well done, the Hawks' defence. Lewis arrives. Danger picked it up. Guthrie around the body. And the Cats, they're back in front again. What a game this is. 75-74, Cats by a point. Harvey Norman scoreboard. Let's get down to Howie.
Yeah, big head clash between Burgoyne, who's still on the ground just, and Hawkins, who is off the ground. That's a 200 kilos running bang straight into each other.
Just a wonderful ball gather there by Paddy Dangerfield, and as has been so often the case tonight, the Hawthorn players were just unable to tackle him. Broke a couple of tackles and handballed the ball off for a great Geelong goal.
5 lead changes since half time.
Yeah, and I think that head clash you're talking about, Chemist Warehouse replay screen, it was the back of Burgoyne's head that caught the face of Tom Hawkins. I think they're just checking his nose at the moment, making sure it's not broken.
Cats by just a point. Dangerfield enormous there as Mitchell went and got it, arched the back, customary style, and then bounced up and saw someone sideways. It bounces out in front of Whitecross, who's been really good. He gave it to Howe and then got it back. Cowan makes him earn it, but Whitecross very good again. Low bullet, nice to Gunston. On the wing he goes to McAvoy, centre of the ground. Wants to handball forward to Burgoyne, why wouldn't you? Lines up the champ and does what he does best. This is a superstar. from downtown. Sean Burgoyne's given the Hawks back the lead. 12-8-80 to 11-9-75. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard.
It's hard to feel like you're not repeating yourself when you come and watch the Hawks play, but I can't remember a player in history that stands up and does important things in important stages of games better than Sean Burgoyne. And just another terrific example there. Great switch of the footy. McAvoy didn't muck around, gave the handball to Burgoyne and drilled it home from 50 metres out. All class.
32nd final tonight for Sean Burgoyne. It's the second most of all time. Let's get down to Howie again.
Yeah, big story possibly here. They're reviewing the head clash. The doctor's down on the screens here in front of them. Hawkins still on the bench.
So maybe a concussion, Howie, with Hawkins.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're looking at the moment, Das.
So back in the centre, and a goaler tried to get a handball away, and he might have thrown it, so it's going to be a free kick away of Bruce. And he'll send the Hawks forward again, outright. That's Whitecross out there. He's got the footy. Played really well tonight. 5-point lead to the Hawks. That's lead chain number 6, I think, Two-Man.
Spot on.
Deep, long ball into attack for Hawthorn, and Lonergan did really well.
Yeah, no contest from the Hawks. That hurts.
Kick out, fisted away from Menzel. Mitchell's been really good in this last quarter. It comes wide to Hill. Hill steps back in through traffic, gets a nice block. Inside 50 he goes. Marking players needed. No one able to latch onto it. Cyril lurking here. Still he chases Enright, who just hacks it out of there. It bounces into the hands of Whitecross. Gets out of a couple of tacklers to Gibson. Gibson to Mitchell. Mitchell coughs it up to Ruggles, to Bartell. Now Motlop over the top.
He's going to take a bounce, Motlop. He's got Gibson in front of him, checks his run, and then concedes some ground. Back to Menegola. Kick inside 50. Birchall, his own man, run into him. It was Liam Shields. Whitecross back there. Birchall, they've got the numbers now. Frawley. Target out wide, he likes, and Showmakers. He'll give it to Isaac Smith. No, decides to come back inboard, and then he just took on too much. McCarthy with the smother, picked up by Smith. Back to Showmakers. Long ball. Rioli down there. Kick favoured the Cats. Lonergan again stood up. Jeez. Big intercept mark for Geelong.
Yeah, a couple of important marks, Tom Lonergan. How good.
Thought about going, and then didn't. He's still got Scott Selwood if he wants him.
He's got some short, loose numbers.
He doesn't want to use either of them. And now he's run himself into a bit of trouble, Big Domsey. He's kicked as he pushed as he kicked. Almost coughed it up. Shields now back inside 50 with a high one. Cyril dangerous here. Did he get a push? No. Fist out. It's going to be thrown in very deep inside the Hawks City end forward 50. Hawkins coming back onto the ground, so things look good there. Hawks fans wanted a push on Cyril, they didn't get it. So the throw in, McAvoy and Smith through both sets of hands. McAvoy went back and got it. Just a little kick forward. Lonergan again, this time Menegola. End on end, and Hawkins takes an important mark.
So that's good news. Hawkins back out there. Copped a massive head clash and appears to be fine. Short one from Selwood to Dangerfield. It's uncanny how often we call that. Dangerous little chip over the top to Guthrie. 2 kicks from home.
Selwood running on. He's in space.
And that's where it goes, Chief. Still too far out to score. Stratton on the mark. Let's get a short one to McCarthy. Menzel wants it deep. Going to chip in the Hawkins direction. He peels off his man Hawkins. No free kick. Got some hands on it. McCarthy got around a tackle. Got it to Cowan. Cowan has a shot from the boundary across the face. And the mark taken by Whitecross. His numbers, please, Two-Man.
18 disposals at 94% efficiency.
Gets it into the hands of Birchall. 75 plays 80. Hawks by 5 points. Birchall's kick to Hodge isn't good. Out in the full.
Jeez.
Menegola going to end up with a pill. Missed badly with the foot pass. So Menegola from outside 50. Kicks it straight into Luke Hodge. And it's going to be thrown in.
Some tired boys out there now.
Yep.
It's interesting that Luke Hodge outside the field of play and the kick into him outside the field of play. Did anything actually happen, Chief?
Well, you've got to kick it from outside because it's from out in the full, so that's where the free kick is.
6 lead changes already in this match. Hawks by 5 points. Halfway mark of the last term. And kick forward by Ruggles. Frawley, Hawkins through their hands. And over for a boundary throwing close to the right hand behind post deep. At the punt road end of the MCG. Cats in attack. So a lot of numbers surge around this one. I just get the feeling there is a chance for someone to be the hero here. Zach Smith had a fresh air swing. Hodge in there, fighting hard. Cowan over the top of him. McAvoy squeezed it out. Bradley Hill, Isaac Smith, and now Lewis clears defensive 50. Rioli from behind. Diopolo in front. Cats keep it in. Mackie tried to surge it forward. He's kicked it off the side of the boot. Out of bounds on the full.
You just get the feeling that the result of this game is going to come down to a couple of opportunities, couple of half opportunities. Who can take them, who can make the most of it, and who makes a mistake.
And just always back the Hawks in these tight games because they just seem to always win them. Stratton has a bounce. Defensive 50 goes long. Whitecross not going to get to him. Straight to Bartel.
That should nearly be 50 against Whitecross.
Yep. Bartel goes to Hawkins or further afield, gets to Cowan. Cowan's outside 50. I'm not sure if he's got the trip. He thinks he has because he's ignoring everyone around him. So Josh Cowan, just 3 goals for the year.
Got a bit of blood flowing from the eye. I'm surprised he's allowed to take the kick. But
5 in his career. He's hit that okay. Just pulled it a touch into the goalpost, I should say, behind.
Here's the blood rule now.
So he's coming off, but
so is Zach Smith. The 2 of them.
The scoreboard's 12-8-80 Hawthorn, 11-10-76 Geelong. Hawks by 4 points.
In fact, it was a 3-way head clash between Scott Selwood, Zach Smith and Josh Cowan, and 2 of them are coming off with the blood flowing.
When 2 blokes are off at the same time with the blood rule too, it can stuff your rotations up for a couple of minutes.
Chris Judd, Chief Jason Dunstall, Shell V-Power special comments. 9:40 remaining in this qualifying final. A berth in the prelim awaits the victor and a 4-point lead to the Hawks. Some run from Isaac Smith out of defence. Bruce got to contend with a couple here and he couldn't do it. Mitch Duncan drifted across and took a good mark right on centre wing, right in front of Howie in the dock down there. Members side of the MCG. Goes back to Lonergan. Lonergan. Chips one to centre forward. Dangerfield sits under it. Frawley with a left-handed spoil. Picked up by Shields. Kick round the body. They want deliberate. Coming through his bruise.
Can't pay that.
They've paid it, Chief. They've paid it.
He did everything he could to hook that back around. And Bruce wasn't far away. But we've seen them paid a few tonight, so they've gone both ways.
We saw him ignored for a half too.
Yep.
Duncan to half forward. McAvoy with a big fist. And out. So 60 from home. Geelong's punt road end.
Geelong's contested marking just looking like it's starting to become a bit of a factor as well.
The big blokes don't get smaller at the end of the game, do they?
4-point lead Hawthorn. 9 minutes left to work out who goes through to a home prelim. Isaac Smith held up. Now Dangerfield. Kick smothered by Geordie Lewis. He got a handball to Mitchell. His hands were quick to Shields, but it's taken out. You just wonder if the Hawks don't win this game, Chief, whether they can win the flag, whether they could play the maximum amount of finals and still get there.
Yeah, agreed. You wonder how many of these type of performances they had in them.
Well, Blitzarves grabbed it clean out of the ruck and then gets it forward. Fist away from Frawley. Bartel's been quiet, picked it up back to Dangerfield. His hands were partially smothered. Lewis's attack with the footy. Coming the other way was Selwood and well umpired. He called it a dead heat.
Joel Selwood saying he dived on it. There was a little bit of that in it.
Also looking, I think, for the sweeping of the legs free kick, which I'm glad they didn't play. One-on-one now, Rioli and Mackie on the wing. Rioli's provided a bit of space for Piopolo over the top. It was Kolajasny. Might have been a free kick. Looked like pushing the back. Blitzarves too tall for Mitchell. Good mark. 2 kicks from home.
One of Piopolo's quieter games, Chief.
That's 50 against Mitchell. He hasn't gone east to west. He's gone across at the angle, and he shouldn't have been allowed to do that.
He worked it beautifully. Now he goes to Hodge.
He got away with one there, Sam Mitchell.
Hodge has got it.
Outside the attacking 50, or the defensive 50, you've got to go in a straight line east-west. You can't follow the angle towards goal.
Hodge just pumps it long. Rioli in front has it fisted away from him. Hard ball to win. Selwood taken high. Give me Puopolo's numbers, please, Ash.
Yeah, 10 possessions and scoreless, JB, for Hardyaker.
Been quiet.
So, Scott Selwood. He wants to transfer, and he does. He gets it into the hands of Ruggles, who's not always the best person to have it in the hands of. And he goes wide and just coughed the footy straight up.
Really poor kick. Now a chance for Howe to go short to Isaac Smith. He's got a target out wide that he likes. It's Shoalmakers. Southern stand wing side. Gunston, they get it to 60. Bradley Hill wants a bit of overlap run. Cats get numbers back, so Gunston sizes up what's in front of him. Plays on around the mark, runs to 55. I think he might have had a big long shot, Gunston, from outside 50. He did, just dragged it late. And that minor score takes the lead for Hawthorn up to 5 points. 12-9-81. Cats 11-10-76. Harvey Norman scoreboard.
6 minutes 50 left.
Almost look like they're setting up for the long one down the middle.
Guthrie
they don't
to
go that way.
Joel Selwood to Ruggles. Ruggles just inside defensive 50. Great Southern Stand side of the ground. High and long down the line. Gibson in from the side. Howe there as well. They kill it over the line. And it'll be thrown in on the Great Southern Stand wing.
Almost feels like the next goal wins, I reckon.
5 point lead to the Hawks. But it has been a seesawing encounter. 6 lead changes since half time. Through the hands of Hodge. Stanley went and picked it off. Gave it to Bartel. Bartel low and hard inside 50. Hawkins one hand to it. Frawley with him. Hawkins keeps his feet. Picks it up. Gives it to Motlop. The snap is missing.
Oh, there those opportunities we're talking about.
11-11-77 Geelong. 12-9-81 Hawthorn. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard.
Did well, Tommy Hawkins. 1 against 2. Won the ball. Got it to Motlop.
Kick in from Birchall's a ripper right down the middle to Burgoyne. Hawks have won 6 games this year under 10 points. 5 of those by less than a goal. And they lead it by 4 points with 6 minutes remaining here in the qualifying final. Can they do it again? Remarkable team they are. They use it well by foot to Isaac Smith, who's, as always, running on top of the ground.
Just had a chat to the bench,
Yep.
Isaac Smith.
Found out the time left in the game, Chief.
So casually, now he plays on, but around Ruggles on the mark, gained a further 10 metres, then a long one down the line. Puopolo's been quiet. Stanley slaps it back in the corridor. Rioli in front of Mackie, slick handball, back to Shields, left foot bender, over the head of Lonergan, can it bounce through? It turned to the left when it needed to go right. And back out to 5 points. 12-10-82 Hawthorn, 11-11-77 Geelong. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard.
Cats to bring it back in. They go to Mackie. Surrounded by Hawks.
Interesting
Now,
decision
yeah,
to play on. He
played
looked up and had nothing.
Okay, back to Enright, who kicked it to him in the first place. He's got Blitzarves on down the line. He goes in that direction. Danger in front. Slides in and takes a mark, but then missed the play with a handball. Off a step, he kicks it long, looking for Guthrie, who takes it. No. Jordan Lewis just hacked it off the ground straight to Menegola. And Menegola, he just pounds it down the line to a 1-on-3. Gibson in from the side. Work to the front. Dispossessed Cowan. Went and got it. Gave it to Guthrie. Guthrie just hoists it high. A spinning Torpy. Going to land inside forward 50. Fitzpatrick did pretty well. Handball into the path of Brewster. Went without it. Bartel went and got it. Gave it to Joel Selwood, who's wrapped up twice. Released it to his brother Scott.
Oh, they're on here.
Gave it off to Harry Taylor. Pokes it inside 50. Caddy all on his own.
They've got to go and stand on the mark.
He's going to walk in, caddy, and kick. A goal. So the Cats are back out to a 1 point lead. We've got another lead change.
It started with Joel Selwood. Just won a very important ball in the centre of the ground. Broke a couple of tackles and still managed to get his handball out. And the Cats just had a couple of numbers forward of the footy then.
Yep.
And that's what happens at this stage of the game. Players get tired. Sometimes the setups get forgotten, and Caddy found himself in a lot of space and was good enough to get the job done.
And you could see when he took the mark, players were too tired to push back and make him go back and have the set shot, so he was able to run in and make sure of it.
7th lead change since half time in this game. Cats by a point. 87,533 in the house. And no one is moving from their seat. 4:16 remaining in this game. What about it? Extraordinary stuff. Fitzpatrick comes out with the footy. Little chipping kick was okay. Fumble from Whitecross. Got to go back and get it. He does. Good tackle. Might be holding the footy though. And it is. The Cats come up with it. 3 Menegola.
Well, the first mistake he's made, Whitecross.
Yep, I was going to say, I don't think Menegola tackled him. So it goes back to Caddy.
1 point is the lead. Again, a classic between the Hawks and the Cats. Geelong by a point. Long ball forward. Hodge in front. Terrific mark. Not paid. Menzel brings it away. Motlop sneaking forward. Gets out of a couple of tackles. Gets it to Menegola with a good look at the goal. He goes with a high ball. Hill cast as a defender. Cowan couldn't take the mark. Ball out of play.
Well, all the pressure on the Hawks now, because you think if the Cats get the next goal and it's 2 scores, it's probably too much. So, pressure situation. Cats need another one here.
3:30 remaining in this game, Chief. 1 point lead to Geelong. Boundary throw him.
Cracking game.
Deep in attack. Cats. Punt road end. Dangerfield. Howe. Danger got boot to ball when it goes across for another boundary throw in.
Just a reminder, if we've got extra time, it's 5 minutes both ways, and then if it's still locked up, it's the next goal. Or next score, in fact.
So Harry Taylor, the deep sweeper here. Everyone else pushing up to try and lock the ball in.
Fitzpatrick tried to go and get it, unable to do so. Motlop kicked it off the ground and threw for a behind. So the Hawks get the ball back, but the Cats lead by 2 points.
Birchall, quick kick in and well placed to Whitecross. Found him on defensive 50. Showmaker signalling. Kick it to me one-on-one down the line. I've got Duncan. Harry Taylor was lurking to come third man in, so they made the right call. Now they try and switch it through Birchall to Hodge. Clock ticks down under 3 minutes in the game. Hawks need the next goal. Short to Burgoyne, still inside defensive 50. What can Burgoyne do? Long out to the wing, southern stand side. Pure below. Big fly, bruised. Confronting him, Motlop. Gibson in there, slap forward. Cats get there. Through Selwood to Blitzarves. Hands it back to Harry Taylor.
Harry Taylor short. Lonigan.
Yeah, slow things down if you're the Cats now. If you've got a chip option, you take it.
2 minutes 30 left. They lead by 2 points.
Chew time whenever you can.
Massive prize for the team that wins this game. Long down the line. Hodge is taken out of it by Cowan. Motlop at the back picks it up. Did he keep it in by foot? Yes. Hawkins inside 50. The ball eluded him. But it's at the right end of the ground for the Cats.
That's where you want it.
And it's going to be thrown in about 25 around from their goals.
Again, they organise their defensive setup here now. They push everyone up. They'll have a sweeper out the back this time.
2 minutes, 7 seconds remaining. Cats by 2 points. The Hawks have won 6 tight games this year. Can they get it down the other end and do it again? In there, Scott Selwood, Mitchell, Burgoyne. Hawks through bruised. Hard footy to be won as you'd expect. Picked up by Motlop. Hacked it forward. Now Hodge. Isaac Smith had a fumble. Got to go back and get it. Duncan's pressure was good. Kick up the side of the boot. Whitecross, he looks up. Absolutely nothing. Goes back to Birchall.
Birchall's kick is smothered off the boot. Whitecross went back and got it taken high. Surely he'll get a free. We've got 1 minute 30 left. And it's a 2 point lead to the Cats. Can this Hawthorn team conjure up one more miracle? Across the ground, Burgoyne will take it on the bounce. Inside defensive 50. He sticks it wide. Bruce can't get to the footy. It went through the hands of Enright. Bruce went back and got it. Mitchell needs to win this ball. Got it tracking back. Burgoyne then at ground level. We're down to 1 minute 8 and the ball's up for grabs on the wing. Hawkins. Menegola's got it now. Out of a couple of tackles. Spins around the body. Bounces it inside 50. Guthrie goes and gets it to Menzel. Menzel. Handball back to Guthrie. Gibson's there as well. Gibson wins the footy and gets it to Birchall.
50 seconds remaining in this game. Hawks are still in defence. They've got to kick the next goal. Gibson back to Hodge. Well played, Motlop. Dispossess Hodge. 20 metres out. Spins, bends, and he's kicked a point. So 36 seconds and counting 34 seconds. It's got to go up the middle of the ground, this one.
It does. Straight to Geordie Lewis, who'll want to release it. He just kicks a banana ball forward. It's going to land with Burgoyne. Centre of the ground. He's got the run of Duray wide. Uses him now. Duray sits it over the top to Bruce, who's 50 from home. We've got 19 seconds left.
You got to take the shot.
Bruce.
Look at Gunston.
He kicked it into the man on the mark. Goes back and gets it, but he gets out of the tackle and then sees something he likes. Isaac Smith, 7 seconds left, will kick after the siren.
Oh, no.
You can't believe this happens. There it is.
This is ridiculous.
Isaac Smith to win the game for the Hawks. 30 out on a 45-degree angle.
50-50 chance, Isaac Smith. Good range, not always incredibly accurate, getting a bit of advice from a couple of the Cats players.
It was always going to end this way. To win the Hawks the game and deliver them a prelim final. Isaac Smith has missed
it.
The Cats have won this game of footy. And the Hawks, with a shot after the siren, was no good. Staggering what these two clubs can conjure at this venue. $87,533 fans have seen an absolute classic at the G on a Friday night. And you got to feel Juddy for Isaac Smith.
You do. It's sort of every young boy's dream to have a shot after the siren, and yeah, look, you can't begrudge him for missing it. Huge amount of pressure at the end of the game with very tired legs, and he was pretty good all night, but just not able to get the job done. And at the end of the day, the Hawks were probably bound to lose a close one sooner or later.
Yeah, luck has to run out, doesn't it? What they did do was, with 30 seconds left on the clock from a kick out, they created a scoring opportunity. That's probably something that Chris Scott will look at and say, how did we allow that to happen? We should have been able to prevent that. So the Hawks actually got what they wanted in the last 30 seconds, but I don't think you can begrudge either team winning this game. They did what they always do, and they put on a cracking contest.
How much did it miss by? Did we get a look at it on the screen?
They celebrated pretty early, the Cats defenders.
Yeah. And Isaac Smith knew pretty much off the boot it wasn't going through.
A little bit of feedback from Mackie there, was it, at the end? Just
wouldn't be like Andrew, would it?
It was nice of the Hawks boys to get straight around him. Isaac Smith I'm talking about, but the Cats get the week off. And then they're back here for a prelim. The Hawks are back here next Friday night against the Dogs. Corey Enright, let's have a listen, host broadcaster.
Between these two teams, and you're into a prelim final. That means everything, doesn't it? You get the week off now and freshen right up.
Yeah, it was an awesome game. It was really hard right to the end. So we'll take the week off and hopefully freshen up and like the game in a couple of weeks.
Mate, it looked at one stage there, they got out to 17 points in front. It looked like they had control of the game. You really had to dig deep at that point, didn't you, to peg it back? Yeah, we just wanted to play the game right out. Obviously play for 4 quarters and see what happened, and we went right to the last second. So we're pretty happy right now. Mate, Lonergan in the last quarter really stood up, took some big marks, because the last thing you wanted was the ball coming to ground, and he really held up for you. Yeah, we didn't want to try and give him any easy goals, and I thought we fought pretty hard, as did they. So it was just one of those nights we had to scrap for your goals, and we were lucky enough to come out with a win. Well done, Boris. Another prelim. Thank you.
Happy boy, Boris Enright. Jeez, that's a classic game of footy, isn't it? Just magnificent.
Just that collective sigh when that mark landed in Isaac Smith's lap, and everyone in the stadium just went, what is happening? You can't believe it. It was just an epic game and huge crowd. What a night for AFL football. Great celebration, and two of the best teams we've seen in any era. Head-to-head, the great rivalry, and it's amazing how they just toss up these games, Jody, don't they? It was an incredible night.
And it's almost a different game of footy once final start, isn't it? You just see the pressure and the lack of time that the players have. It's almost like they're playing a different sport to the home and away games.
And that was what was happening from the start of the game tonight, wasn't it? It was just a war and battle everywhere. Let's head down and have a listen to Andrew Mackie with Richo.
Oh, it was gutsy. The third quarter we didn't look too good, and we come out and get that done. But credit to the Hawks, it was a great game.
Mate, good players all over the ground, but I think in the third quarter your small forwards got you back into the game. Mike Locke and the boys down there got it going.
Link McCarthy was good in that third quarter. He had a couple of left foot snags, so It's great to see the young guys. They really stepped up tonight. It's a gutsy win, Richo. It's hold us in good stead for a couple of weeks, and just really happy for everyone.
Mate, any concern? I know you get the week off now, but that'd be one game in a month. No issues there at all with you?
No,
happy with that?
Yeah, no, mate. We've got the sports science guys. We run pretty hard in the week off, but we'd take it. We'd rather be having the week off and playing next week. That's for sure.
Thanks, mate.
Good on you, Richo.
Andrew Mackey down there with Richo. Thanks to Channel 7 for that. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard. If you've just jumped into your car and you're wondering what happened tonight, beat the heat and get your air conditioner installed now at Harvey Norman. 12-13-85 Geelong, 12-11-83 Hawthorn. Isaac Smith shot after the siren and he dragged it across the face for a chance to become a hero, get his side into a prelim final. Chief, a long road now for Hawthorn to find a way back into another grand final.
Yeah, it's funny. I thought they had one big game in them in the finals, and that might have been it. Whether they can rebound from that and produce it again next week against the Bulldogs, which will be a very different sort of game. A lot of leg speed, a lot of run and carry for the Bulldogs, so that'll be a different tactical battle once again, I think. Not as much the aerial dominance that the Cats look to have at different stages. So just look, the Cats, they set their season up. They came in with good form. They probably would have preferred to play someone other than the Hawks because it doesn't really matter how the two are travelling at the time. They put on good games. But they would be thrilled they got the job done. Now they get the week off. They get to relax. They get to wait and see what happens with the other games. So they put themselves in prime position to win the flag now.
Do you reckon the biggest smile I can see out there, Juddy, is Paddy Dangerfield as we head down to the Geelong rooms? He cannot believe how well this year's gone for him.
Yeah, potentially a Brownlow medal and straight into a prelim, and he's been a very big factor in all of that. He was terrific tonight and stood up at important stages.
Let's get down to Howie inside the Cats' rooms.
In they come, the Cats. They got a week off in the preliminary final. This will be a big, big song. Big win for the Cats. A lot of stories down here. Daniel Menzel, one of them. His teammates are getting around and giving him a hug now. It was this final those years ago where he did his knee against the Hawks. The Cats will go in directly to a meeting and then we'll speak to one of their superstars shortly on Triple M Footy. What a game.
Nice work down there, Howie. Look forward to getting all of the fallout from this one from you inside the Geelong rooms. We'll hear from the Hawks. We've got Chris Judd, the Chief Jason Dunstall. The two-man's got all your hard yakka stats. Doc and Howie with all that's happening. James Brayshaw calling this one in fine style as always. It's the Cats through the prelim, 87,533 at the MCG to witness it. 2 points was the margin. And thanks to McDonald's, Triple M rocks football.
This quarter was brought to you by Harvey Norman Home, your king-size capacity laundry specialists.
For McDonald's Monopoly, Triple M rocks finals footy. Next week, Triple M's Hot Breakfast is going to be huge.
What is going on?
Formula One driver Daniel Ricciardo, St. Kilda superstar Joey Montagna, and live in studio, supermodel Jennifer Hawkins.
Last time I was on the show, he sniffed my hair.
Plus, Mickey has a massive announcement.
This is going to be fantastic. Hang about.
It's a week you don't want to miss.
It's going to be all
Triple M's Hot Breakfast. Everything Melbourne. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes now.
All the action of the footy finals live on the big screens this weekend at Crown.
It's footy finals time at Coles. Stock up on half-price Cadbury family-sized chocolate blocks, just $2.50. And 24 packs of Frantel Aussie Spring Water, half price at just $5.50. For more half-price specials, get into Coles.
Even when everything is going great, the black dog of depression can sneak up on you. You're not alone. 1 in 7 Australians are feeling just like you. But there is hope available. The Black Dog Institute provides information on diagnosis, treatment and prevention of mental illnesses like depression, bipolar disorder and anxiety. If the black dog is hounding you, visit blackdoginstitute.org.au for real help and support. Black Dog Institute. Putting health in mind.
Want to win one of 10 double passes to the Wilson Security Sandown 500? September 16 to 18. It's the Supercars Retro Round. Take a step back into the 60s, 70s and 80s. Head to the Triple M win page to enter.
This AFL Finals, you'll be cheering until the final siren with CrownBet's points pile up. Place a head-to-head bet on any finals match in weeks 1 and 2 and get 100 rewards points for every point your team wins by. So if your team win by 30 points, you'll get $30 worth of CrownBet rewards points. There's no limit to the points you can pile up. The bigger the winning margin, the more points you'll receive. Join today at crownbet.com.au. CrownBet, the game just changed. Conditions apply. Minimum bet $20. 18 plus. Gamble responsibly.
Harden up with the Triple M Rock Patrol and new hard-hitting lemon lift, the refreshingly unsoft drink. Right now, we're at the iconic MCG. So if you see us, don't be a softie. Come say g'day and have a good hard crack at our Lift hard-hitting hammer game. And while you're at it, get your hands around a cold, hard can of new Lift. That's the Triple M Rock Patrol right now at the MCG. The new hard-hitting lemon lift, the refreshingly unsoft drink.
It's time for a new era of classic rock. Bon Jovi's lead guitarist, Richie Sambora, joins forces with Australia's very own rock goddess, Arianthi, forming powerhouse duo RSO. RSO, Richie Sambora and Arianthi, live at Margaret Court Arena, September 27. Book now at Ticket Tech.
Be rewarded with Harvey Norman Cool Cash. Simply purchase a selected inverter split system air conditioner from Fujitsu, Mitsubishi Electric, Panasonic or Kelvinator and get a bonus FPOS gift card valued at up to $200. What a deal! Beat the heat and organise installation before summer. Just ask in store. Get a great deal on your new air conditioner and bonus FPOS gift card up to $200 value. Hurry, limited offer. Conditions apply. Installation not available in all areas. Beat the heat at Harvey Norman with Cool Cash.
The 2016 AFL season is proudly brought to you by Toyota. Toyota Footy. Oh, what a feeling.
Shut up! The footy's on the radio!
For McDonald's Monopoly, Triple M rocks finals footy.
The Footy Review is brought to you by DeWalt. Guaranteed tough and available at Bunnings Warehouse.
Just looking at the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay screen and the two coaches' boxes. What about it? The absolute pandemonium in the Cats box after Isaac Smith's kick drifted wide, and the absolute devastation on the face of Al Clarkson in the Hawthorn box. It's an amazing victory to the Cats, 2 points. This is the Footy Review for DeWalt, guaranteed tough and available at Bunnings Warehouse. And we'll get back down to you, Howie.
With a man that's won 3 premierships already, he's into another preliminary final, Andrew Mackie. Mac, congratulations and thanks for the show tonight. A phenomenal game of football. The siren sounds, Isaac Smith's lining up. What's going through your very tired brain at that stage, brother? Well done.
Oh, thanks, Howie. Plenty, to be honest. I didn't know what to think. Everything. Didn't know whether to jump with the boys or go and see him once it gone through. But he's a quality kick. To be honest, I thought he was going to put it through. But what a game, you know. It's sort of had a feeling it was going to go down to something like that, you know, when you're playing the Hawks, and no matter how both teams are going, coming off the week off, it was just a quality game of footy, really hard game, you know. Both teams tackled hard, and I don't think we're at our best tonight, so it's a great feeling to get the win.
Congratulations, Andrew. Terrific performance. The Cats deserved it, but I mean, you play 120 minutes, gets decided by a kick. That last 30 seconds, how do you allow the ball to go that way? That'll be probably the investigation post-game, won't it? Yeah, Jace, I think it's happened all night, to be honest. We weren't able to stop the Hawthorn switch out of their back line, and sort of they used the ball pretty efficiently, and I thought we were quite poor at that at times, so there's definitely plenty to work on, but you're right, it goes down to not being able to for them to move the ball straight down the ground. It's something that we need to look at, and we got away with one tonight, that's for sure, but unlucky for Izzy. As I said, he's a quality player, and he'll bounce back.
And Chris Scott mentioned the uncontested marks at half time. Was that a bit of a focus area to try and drive the Hawthorn players into taking a bit more risk?
Yeah, I think it did get mentioned. We did, as I said, we didn't do it well all night, and if you enter at your own peril, if you play the Hawthorn like that, then you were very lucky to get away with the win, and that's what happened tonight. To be honest, they had a chance to win it, and look, we take it, that's for sure. We take the week off and move on to a prelim, but look, there was some gutsy stuff in the third quarter to get back in the game. As I said, I thought we had it on our terms early in the second, and then they're just a quality outfit. They come back and they kick quick goals and get in front, but mate, it was full of character to get in front at the end.
Matt, congratulations. Another great year from you individually, and you're through to another prelim. Bit of a different looking back line this year with Jake Kolajasny and Ruggles playing big minutes. You'd think that they would be a lot better for that experience tonight in the big final.
Yeah, you're spot on, Das. I think, the Hawthorn forward line caused a few sleepless nights, that's for sure, and they didn't let their team down tonight. Bruce and Rioli were dangerous, and Gunston's always on the move, and even Fitzy popped up a bit. But you're right, I thought a couple of times with the ball we could have taken the ball forward, a couple of times we went backwards, and we got smothered a couple of times at crucial moments. Little things like that, I think we will be better. And we need to be, because we'll come up against a really good side in a couple of weeks, and we're going to have to get better.
Andrew, I love the rivalry that these two teams have created. I mean, from a spectator's perspective, you get the best games every single time. As a player, do you love knowing it's going to be that tight, hard slog, or would you rather play someone else at times?
Oh, once the siren's gone and we're in front, Jay, so I'm more than happy. But you're right, it's almost like you just got to fast forward to the last couple of minutes. But the matches are so good. You think back throughout the years, there's been moments where we've been up by 40 points, we've been down by 6 goals, but it just comes down to a couple of moments, and it is a privilege to play in the games, to be honest, regardless of a final or not. They're always like that. But it was a big match, it was a big crowd. It's it was a great spectacle, I can imagine.
Yeah, Mac, we know that you're pretty good with the verbal stuff. It's one of your great gifts out there. Did you get any good ones away tonight?
I was copping a couple of jumper punches, couldn't talk for a bit. I thought, he's up, boys. No, it was good. There's always a bit of feeling, but got so much respect for a lot of those players. Played against them for a lot of years, and I think at the end of the day, you do have a lot of respect, as much as you dislike them on the field, and the rivalry, like you said, Jason. When you keep coming up against the guys and you look at them in the eye, there is a bit of respect, and there is a bit of chat.
Saw a really good chat between you and Cyril at one stage. What was that about, Andrew?
I said, I'm not going in at 1-2 combo with you, mate. You're too quick. So he wasn't happy with Ruggles, got him one, I think, but no, he's all right. He's good for a chat.
And there was a little bit of a different build-up to the finals this year with the week off beforehand. How did you handle that, and did it feel much different to years gone by?
Yeah, Juddy, I think these days with the sports science, you put a lot of faith in. I felt like we ran the game out okay. As I said, I don't think we defended that well as a whole team, as in from the forward 50 down, whether that was legs or not. But we probably chased a bit too much, because they, as you said, take the uncontested mark, and you sort of fill up that a bit. But it'll be one game in a month, but we should be fresh for a couple of weeks. And as I said, the sports science, they pay them enough money to get us fit, so hopefully they will.
And Mac, number 3 just recently arrived, yes?
Yeah, had a little girl, Lindy, so she's going well, a couple of weeks in. Old spare room's getting to work out.
I was about to say, are you getting any sleep?
Oh, sort of, mate. I think this time of year, you just roll with the punches, don't you, regardless. It's great fun though, JB. I wouldn't change a thing. I love being a dad.
Wonderful, mate. Well, that's great news, and good news for you tonight too. You get a week off and a home prelim.
Yeah, good on you, boys. Appreciate it.
Andrew Mackie, 3-time premiership star of the Geelong Footy Club. You're listening to the Footy Review for DeWalt. Guaranteed tough, available at Bunnings. We got the Petters Performance Star, of course, Best on Ground award. All those votes in-house, but who did we like just in general? Juddy and Chief, who did you think played wonderfully well for their club?
I thought Jordan Lewis was he was probably the best man on the ground for mine. He was really consistent over the 4 quarters. Got a lot of the ball, used the ball well. A couple of really courageous acts, and he was probably one that stood out for mine.
I love Joel Selwood's game. He had important touches. He had clearances when they were needed, kicked a goal. Perhaps didn't have the complete dominant game that we usually see him play. I mean, Dangerfield topped the catch with 35 touches, but wasn't as damaging as he normally was. I just thought Selwood probably used the ball a little bit better.
We appreciate Andrew Mackie jumping on, of course, for Exetel NBN Broadband. What about the Herald Sun Supercoach player points, please, Ash?
Yeah, thanks, JB. Dangerfield, number 1 ranked player with 121. Jordan Lewis with 120. Blitzhalves at 112. Burgoyne 110, and Joel Selwood chipped in with 108.
Well, that's going to be an amazing game of footy now. Hawthorn, the Western Bulldogs. The Doggies coming back from beating West Coast in Perth, and I reckon Duke won't be taking a backward step in that game of footy.
No, I think they'll give a great account of themselves again. The Bulldogs, Luke Beveridge has got a strong history at Hawthorn as well. You know the way they go about it, and I'm looking forward to be Friday night here back at the MCG. Traditionally, the sides that finish in the top 4 very rarely get rolled the second week, but I think the Bulldogs will go very close to doing
It's
exactly
happened a bit
that.
lately.
Yeah, we saw Luke Beveridge and Rowan Smith here having a look at this game. They would have looked very closely at what the Hawks did that worked for them and what the Cats did against them that actually got control of the game back for them. So, I thought he coached brilliantly last night in Perth. It was a fantastic performance. He knows the Hawks game inside out. He knows Alistair Clarkson very well. So I think it'll be a great tactical battle next week.
I reckon Ash, you would know better than me, but in recent times, there have been some straight sets exiting of final series.
There's
more than in the past.
Yeah, Geelong back in 2014, of course.
Sydney last year.
Yeah. And Fremantle.
Fremantle as well. So it's happening more than it used to. It's such a tight competition. All right, we're going to get to a break. Come back to wrap up after this. Also head down into the Hawthorn rooms and see how things are going down there for the Hawks. A kick after the siren from Isaac Smith was wide right, and the game fell Geelong's way. Oh, actually going to keep going. I thought we were going to the break. We're not. So we have a rub tomorrow. We're from the Richard Marsland Studios from 12 to 2:30, which we're going to enjoy. Then we head up to Sydney to the call team up there. That, Juddy, is going to be a cracking game. If I can't wait for the result of that one. I think Howie actually might have made his way into the Hawks rooms now. Howie?
I have, and it's pretty non-existent at the moment. The players and coaching staff are all still in the rooms. Their main concern will be Burton, obviously, was the main concern. Looked like he'd done a calf. Saw him limping down into the rooms at the end of the game. Didn't take part in the second half, so he'd be put a line through him, I would have thought, next week. Saw Lockie Henderson in the Cats rooms. Was he a happy man with a smile on his face? Walking around, hugging all the boys. Knows he's got an extra week now to recover from that knee issue, so you'd imagine he'll really push hard for selection for the Cats. We're hoping to speak to Benny Stratton, who came back out and played his heart out tonight. We'll speak to them after they come out of the meeting. But the Hawks did lose the first final last year, I reckon, and then went and beat Adelaide and Freo away. So they'll still think they're a chance next week, the Hawks.
Thanks for that, Howie. Look forward to having a chat to Ben Stratton shortly. The weather in Sydney, by the way, rain clearing in 22. So that game out at ANZ Stadium between GWS and Sydney, I reckon, is going to be an absolute cracker.
Almost been the one. I know that sounds strange. I've been looking forward to as much as anything because GWS is just such an unknown, and I give them a massive chance. I think that
they give themselves a huge chance.
Yeah. That young group of young stars have got genuine swagger, Juddy, and they're well balanced out with Mumford and Heath Shaw and Stevie J, and Ryan Griffin's played a lot of finals, so they've got a good mix of experience, and just that talent could do anything up there tomorrow at ANZ Stadium.
They do feel like a bit of the wild card out of the top four teams. I think when you come to the ground tonight, you know what you're going to get from Geelong and Hawthorn, but so many of those GWS players playing in their first final. It's going to be really interesting to see how they handle it, and if they do, they're going to be very hard to stop because they do have elite speed through the middle of the ground.
They also fancy themselves against the Swans.
Especially away from the SCG,
They have beaten them a couple of times.
Yep, they don't worry about them at all.
60,000 they're expecting at least at ANZ Stadium, which is a great roll. The AFL would be pumped with 87,500 tonight. So
full house in Adelaide tomorrow night too. There's not a ticket available, hasn't been for 2 weeks, so it's actually fallen beautifully for the AFL from a crowd point of view. Always Perth and Adelaide you're going to get lockouts basically, but the Sydney game will be being a derby will be amazing, and here you're guaranteed of what we got.
Massive TV audience last night, and then tonight no one's turned that off right until the final siren. So
just seeing a replay at the moment on the Chemist Warehouse screen of that last 30 seconds, how the Hawks got the ball forward. So Birchall kicks it 35-40 straight up the middle to Lewis. Lewis actually tried to kick a big torpedo down the middle. It came off the side of the boot and landed in the arms of Burgoyne, who then released a player out wide. So it was almost as much by luck as it was by design, that one.
Every week, head to afl.com.au, place your vote for the Coates Hire Goal of the Year. Just looking at Isaac Smith as the boy. Look at the Geelong boys. At this stage, they think it's done. No, they think we're going to be nutted again by Hawthorn after the siren.
Corey Enright lying on the ground. He missed a tackle on Bruce, and you can see him just hands through the head. I know I've cost my side the game tonight. Not to be.
Well, we spoke about all those close games they've had this year, 6 of them under 10 points, I think, 5 of them by a kick. And I reckon in at least 4 of those 5, they came from behind in the last minute. You can't keep doing that. You can't keep getting out of jail. Everything has to go your way. And tonight, the final execution didn't go their way. So that has to happen at some stage.
Actually missed by a long way when you look at it behind the kicker. We couldn't see it because it was over the other side of the ground, Juddy. But when
started right post and kept going.
Just kept going. Like one of my drives, Chief, that starts sort of left half of the fairway and then just hooks to be completely dead.
You know, it'd be interesting chat to have with Isaac Smith. It didn't look like he had any routine at all in that. He just went back, got into his mode. Maybe that's what he does.
Yeah.
But a lot of players that good goal kickers, they do the same thing every time.
Let's get down into the Hawthorn rooms. I think Ben Stratton's down there with Howie.
He is, and he's got a smile on his face. That's the type of character he is, though. You've just come out of the meeting. I'm not going to ask you what they said in there. I'll let someone else ask you about that, mate. What a game of footy. How do you process that 5 minutes after a kick after the siren to put you in a prelim that didn't go to plan?
Yeah, you probably think about it a fair bit over the weekend. You got 2 days to think about it, which isn't great. But we got to put that behind us pretty quickly and move on to Friday night. And kick after the siren. I could have gone either way, and it just swayed left. And I think Isaac just wanted to play next week and keep the run in the legs.
Hey, Strats, look, it was a fantastic performance. If I'm looking for positives, I would have said, given the Hawks' form over the last month, to be able to put yourself in a position to win that game tonight is a massive step forward, and showed that once the finals come around, the players have still got an extra level to go to.
Yeah, I suppose we were happy with the way we played. Just a few finishing touches and a few critical errors at the wrong time that really got us. But we played some good footy, probably the best footy we've played in the last 4 to 6 weeks against a really quality opposition. They came at us hard, and we were able to steady at crucial stages, but then a few mishaps also at crucial stages.
Stretch hadn't played a lot of footy in the last month. How did the legs feel coming back into such an intense game?
No, they actually weren't too bad. I've been doing a fair bit of running. That's the unfortunate thing of doing an arm injury. You just bloody run. That's all you do. So, probably a week off after this. I wouldn't have played much footy in a month. So, it's not such a bad thing that we've got another game this week.
Well done, Strats, on your year. You've had a great year, and we're flying prior to that injury. I want to talk about what happens now with this week. Is it all about recovery? You've got a game back here Friday night at the MCG. How much load do you think you'll get in at training this week?
Yeah, I think you just got to look after yourselves over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Sort of take it easy, probably just hang out with the family and get some quality time in, and then come Monday we'll do some recovery. Tuesday will be our main session, and we'll really just focus on the doggies, I suppose. And given the way they played last night, they're going to come at us pretty quick, and they got nothing to lose either. So, we'll put all our eggs in that basket and look forward to Friday night.
Strats, we wish you well with it, mate, and thank you for jumping on.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Ben Stratton there from the Hawks. So we need to say goodbye now from the MCG, as I said, from midday tomorrow, the midweek rub, before we hand up to the guys in Sydney for GWS and the Swans. And then it's over to Adelaide for the Crows and the Kangaroos to round out what's been a cracking first week of finals footy. Thanks, Juddy.
Thank you.
Take the rest of the night off. Same with you, Ash the Two-Man, Chief, and, of course,
thank you, Jim.
Big Duke. Howie and the Doc have been great as well. Classic game of footy, won by 2 points by the Cats in front of 87,533 for McDonald's. And by the way, played the Monopoly game at Macca's for a 1 in 5 chance to win great prizes instantly, including tickets to the AFL Grand Final. This has been Triple M rocking finals footy.